this edition of the Higher Estate. Squirrel. Who said
Hello.
that? That's what Sandra said last time.
What?
You're sitting here and you're like, squirrel.
No,
Wait, how's your haircut?
Yeah, I just said, did you see that guy's haircut?
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, okay, so
It's Ira Priceisms.
we've got it again. It's been sick. Well, you can't do.
I can't drink your kombucha. Kombucha.
It's really good. Do you like the kombucha?
I'm gonna
It's
try
alive.
it right now.
It's still live. Yeah. I worry that I'll burp really loud into your thing from all the living stuff.
Yeah, no,
in my belly.
that.
Listen. Okay, fine. Before we get started, let's just some housekeeping because I haven't been on the air in a couple of weeks since Night of Light. It sounds like it's Hanukkah.
Yeah.
But they did this thing in Hamilton called Night of Light. And it was a lot of fun. I interviewed all these little like small business owners of like in the wellness sector. It was really kind of cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, before I get started, housekeeping stuff. Few things. Everybody go check out cannabisretreats.com because you know what? We're taking Cali and we're bringing it to Canada. So,
Are we?
yes.
Are we doing a
August-
hot box lounge
So
at
thank you.
the
Yes,
cannabis
so I have-
retreat?
I love.
I think we should.
So this
Are we
is-
on? Is this taping?
Yeah, no, it's
Is this
taping. This
it's
is happening.
It's
Yes,
happening.
it's
All right.
happening.
It's alive.
We're happening.
Okay.
It's a live
It's alive.
kombucha.
Okay.
It is the alive kombucha.
Okay.
I want to hear about your shirt too.
yeah,
because
they're-
it's kind of
they're
cool.
awesome,
Are we plugging whoever that is? Fine, we can do that.
Well, plug.
Okay, yes, so absolutely. So that's what I was going to do. I was going to shoot you off the deck today, the
Okay.
sponsor deck, so you can
Yeah.
see what we're going to. Yeah, I got a whole
Okay.
thing for you.
Cool. I'm in.
Yeah,
I
it's
love it.
going to be awesome. And,
Okay.
And I want to chat with you all about it because, you've seen what we do in Cali and what we've done in the U.S. And it's going to be the first one here, and it's Labor Day weekend.
Oh, I'll
So
be free.
We're going to do a Labor Day party as
Okay.
well. I mean, I don't know how it's going to look. It's going to be awesome. I mean, now that we've got legalization on the horizon. I know. Jeez, I was just thinking about, Amy's already on her phone, but we are recording, so you can't get away. You see the video right there? Did you think you were like hiding from us? That was awesome, but you can. It's okay.
I noticed the swear jar, and I'm trying to get one made, so I figured if I
it's right.
took
You like how I did my? It's
I
the
want
cheapest.
a
Oh, and there's like so much change.
What?
It's fun.
Oh, you're
Okay,
cheap
so-
using
No, I
dimes.
am. I'm
What's
cheap.
the-
What do you
I'm
want me
using
to fucking tell you?
loonies.
Next one.
Well, no, and you know what I keep doing? You know the best part? Okay.
prepaid.
Yes, you know my background, right? But this is what I do. I empty it every week. And I just
You
put
know
it
my
back
background, right?
in. So I just empty it, yeah, and then I just keep filling it. And actually, I think most of this changes from George from CannaPro.
Oh, hilarious.
Yeah, it was that. Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, this is a good day.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so we spoke about cannabis. Honestly, go check it out. It's going to be awesome. The first weekend of September, August 31st to September 4th. We're going to be at Hockley Valley. And it's going to be
Where's that?
If
If I can't see the CN Tower, I don't know where I am.
Oh,
Explain.
so it's called
Fully getcha.
Ecology. It's a retreat. It's a resort.
Oh,
It's
okay,
a retreat
cool.
center.
Where is it?
Ecology. It's about an hour north of Toronto.
Cool.
Hockley Valley. It's in Hockley Valley.
I don't know where that is.
Beautiful. I don't know. Do you ever ski? I used to
I don't
ski
ski.
at Hockley
I'm Israeli.
Valley.
Where
You
do
know,
I
Hockley Valley,
you
where
can
you
go
ski.
What
Abby.
Israeli
It's-
skis?
and Mount whatever. Mount somewhere.
Weed
I have
was
a picture from when I was a kid.
There's a
I'm
mountain
on my
somewhere
ass.
in
You know
Israel
that
that
picture.
you can ski.
Yeah.
Hermon or something?
Yeah.
What's the no?
Yeah, Hermon.
Is that,
yeah.
is that what it is?
There's a
I don't-
picture of me as like a 3-year-old child on my ass in the snow.
That's awesome.
That's me skiing on my ass. I don't
Jeez.
ski. Yeah.
They used to put soldiers up there, like it's like
Yeah.
super 007 style. and
Yeah, they
come-
probably still do.
Actually,
Tell me.
Canadians. Okay, check this out. So I did this ski trip. Guys, I'll introduce you in a second. I mean, you've already been here.
We're on
You started the show.
now.
You started the show. You guys, you guys were the first people that I
Yeah,
had.
I'm so
Okay,
flattered.
So do I.
Yeah, and now we're at that time to like crazy. We're 6 months later, and we're at that legalization moment. So we're here to talk about. Let me go back
For
to
skiing,
Yeah. Let's go
I
back
don't
to skiing.
ski. We've accomplished that conversation.
No, you
All
ski.
right.
You ski. Just
I-
put your skis on. You fucking ski.
No, you do, Abby. Don't
Listen,
let him
you
tell
ski. No, I'm telling. No, it's my fault. Don't worry. I'll empty it again and I'll put them back in when I run out.
This is so much
This
fun.
is what we do. And I'll empty it and I'll put it back in. Okay. So I went this year to a place called Chatter Creek, BC, with a bunch of guys from out west, a bunch of emerge docs from out
Yeah.
west. Actually, that's how I'm not going to mention their names because they're a bunch of emerge docs who pulled out a vape while we were there. That's how I got rid of the Da Vinci. Now I'm using Sutra because it's an amazing
nice.
little pocket vape. Okay, you're welcome for the plug, guys.
Yeah.
But anyway, these guys pulled it out while they were like on the mountain. Anyway, my point was, this place is in BC, and you take a helicopter in, and then you land. That's usually what you do on a helicopter. Guys, I'm just so excited. I haven't seen
No
these
way,
in so long.
you land?
Yeah, and you land and you do stuff. So anyways, these guys are telling us that the Canadian military trains up there. They train all their guys up there on skis, I guess, because, I don't know, we're the true north, strong and free.
Yeah.
You know?
On
I don't know about
skis.
the free, but we're strong. True.
True. We're
on
We're
skis.
true. And
We
we
are
are
on
north
skis.
of
We are
America,
north.
so we're like
true.
up north.
I don't know
yeah.
about the other stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
The skiing. Anyway, my story was these guys come up there and they ski. They train them on skis. I don't know how
case we
many
invade
wars are
Russia.
fought. Right, in case we invade Russia. I don't know. That never worked so well in the history of
You
the
know,
world.
we're in perpetual war with Russia and the North Pole. People don't realize this.
Are we really?
We are. There's like warships up there all the time.
In northern Ontario?
In far northern Ontario, there's still domes
Yeah.
that for radar. Like
Yeah.
in my hometown, there's one in the middle of the bush.
What do you mean, your hometown? Where are you from? Nunavut?
No, like 10 hours straight north of here.
Yeah.
So we're way up there.
What's your hometown though?
Hearst.
Hearst. Oh, like what were we saying earlier?
No, you see, I'm with you. I have no idea.
Okay. I tried.
Hearst, Ontario? Is that
you know
north
what
of Thunder
Hearst.
Bay?
Yeah.
That's so 6 hours north of Thunder.
North of Sioux Lookout? I like saying that because the
Almost-
Sioux.
Almost parallel.
People like when you're in northern Ontario, so you're from Sioux.
Yeah.
Ah,
Do you remember
that's a
when
thing?
Stephen Harper would take all these like trips to the
Remember
Arctic?
Stephen Harper.
No, I know nobody remembers Stephen Harper, but he
Yeah.
used to take all these trips to the Arctic to like prove historical relevance, Canadian historical relevance, and that's what it was. Is because the Russians had warships against the Arctic because we're fighting over territory in the Arctic Sea.
Why?
Anyways, so
You
but
can
that's
have it.
but no, it's
No.
full of oil and stuff.
No,
right?
let's keep it.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
keep it.
We want
right?
oil.
We want it. So he would take
Do we
these
use
like
it? No, we
trips
send
every
it out
6
to the
months
US to
and like
refine and send it back to us.
exactly. But he wanted to prove the Canadians had sovereignty over the Arctic before the
Really?
Russians. So there's always warships up there right
The
now.
Russians are coming. The
They're
Russians
here,
are-
Frederick. They're here.
Think-
They're here.
Why are we talking about?
I don't know.
How did we get onto the
Why are we
Russians?
talking about Russians
them a
and
joy.
oil in the North
Everybody
Pole,
can just
and
move
somehow
on.
the North Pole made it to Ontario? Does Ontario extend to the North Pole? Because that's what I sort of got from this whole thing. We've now extended the
I
North
think we were
Pole.
talking about
Went
Israeli
skiing.
skiing.
I think they went skiing.
It's getting hot in here. Can we turn the heat up, the air down? I wanna
right,
stand
Nelly.
up.
Go on.
Okay.
So Abby doesn't ski.
I don't ski.
You
I
don't
sit
ski.
on my ass in the snow.
Okay.
That's what I do.
All right, so let's, guys. I'm coughing still. I literally. Okay,
Cannabis.
last thing. Yeah, so Cannabis is coming and it's going to be great. Check it out. I also want to hear about all what you guys are doing now. I was just going to tell a story. I was in isolation for this last week.
Okay.
From Tuesday till Sunday. Because I'm like certain I had influenza. Well, it's like homemade isolation.
Okay.
It was basically the movie Misery. Remember that movie?
Oh
Like,
my God.
So
Dirty.
I'm coughing now. You can't make me laugh.
Isn't that Dirty Bird? That movie?
No, that was like the Stephen King movie, Misery. What do you mean?
The hammer to the
With the
ankles.
yeah.
Right.
You're
Dirty.
my favorite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. So Naz, my wife, nobody wants to get sick in the house, right?
Yeah.
So we have a spare room and there's a bathroom attached onto the spare room. So basically, I didn't leave the room from Tuesday till Sunday, and Naz wouldn't even open the door. So she would put food, which was amazing because she took care of me with food and stuff. So she'd
sweet.
put food outside the door, knock on the door, and walk away.
Oh.
Like and run away. I'd be like opening. I'd be like open the
Weird.
door, like bring it inside. Anyway, I left isolation.
Did she put like tape and
Yeah,
like
it was
plastic
like-
over the
like
doors
little
and
things.
windows? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Bubble Boy.
It was. That's what I was like. There's like, don't enter.
Yeah.
It's gonna turn into a zombie.
How's it feel being free now?
Of
Your bubble.
it's good. I'm good. I thought you were gonna say 40 because I just turned 40 this past week.
Congratulations on
I'm
your
going again. We're
40th
saying
anniversary.
yeah,
Yeah.
jeez, it's
One
like,
more
Bon
month.
fête.
well, right. I mean, so the way I look at it is I'm on, there's a couple ways. I'm either, 4 plus 0, which is cool, or I'm 30 plus 10, or I'm on level 40.
Yeah.
I mean, and as the higher level, everyone
The
tries to
better
get to
you
the
are,
higher
right?
level. Right.
Yeah.
Don't you play those games like Fortnite? You can watch that that stuff. I'm level fucking 40.
That's a good level.
You know, I don't know, but I
Yeah.
gotta put something in there. It's okay, I'll pour
I
it
think
back
you did
up.
it a couple of times,
Yeah,
actually.
I know, but I already put another one in. Shh. Listen.
He's cheating on his fucking jar.
Oh, you can put one in there too, thank you.
Oh, whoops. Yay.
It's not swear net.
I got a jar. Okay.
This is not swear net.
I will try to
It
control
may
my
be.
potty mouth. I won't.
Okay, so, hi guys.
Hi.
Again, I have Amy.
Hi.
I have Abby.
Hi.
I have like the two Canna goddesses, warrior advocates.
And in a puzzle way, we all have names with 3 letters. Just putting it out there.
That's true.
Ooh.
Is your name short for
Synergy.
something?
All kinds of things.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. I like that. And so I'm really excited to have you guys back.
Yay.
And like from our first go when we first started 6 months ago, everybody's come such a long way, and we have so much going on in the world.
It's 2018.
It's 2018, and we are now, as of yesterday, that Bill C-45 has come through. And they say
Almost.
8 to 12 weeks away. I thought it had to go back through the House because the Senate wanted
It finishes
changes.
Senate, so it went back through the House. The House rejected everything that the Senate came back with, and the Senate still passed it. So it just shows you that the Senate is a useless
They didn't seem to care.
nothing. It's just like a whole lot of bureaucracy.
The House rejected what the Senate did, and the Senate passed it anyway.
You got it. Yeah.
Oh.
Right? This makes so much
thing.
sense to
So
us.
Good
like
thing
2
we
weeks
have-
ago when they did that third reading.
Yeah.
Right.
And
That
they,
was the Senate.
And that was the Senate. And
Yeah.
they made some changes. Got to go back to the House, which I was wondering why it happened so darn quickly.
Yeah.
Because because I was like, oh, there's some changes happening here, so
Mm-hmm.
it's got to go be reapproved through. I thought it would take months to go back again through
No.
the House, but the House just said screw it. We're saying no.
Yeah.
But the Senate just doesn't care what the House says, anyways.
Yeah, and they just passed it.
And they just passed it.
It's just
So they can do that.
like millions of dollars of our tax money wasted
Totally
on
wasted.
bureaucracy and red tape. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the use of the House in this case
well,
for
of the
rejecting
Senate.
it? No, the Senate approved it.
Yeah, but the
So they
Senate
don't
was
care.
like nothing. It was just
Right.
like for them to sit and like.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So they
do
wasted
nothing.
our money.
Totally.
For sure.
100%.
But the House meant
And
it meant
time.
nothing to the House because
Yeah.
they just they rejected it and they
And they
approved
pa-
with the rejection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
So everything that all the work that the Senate did was essentially for nothing. It meant nothing. Nothing changed
Oh,
because
man.
it's all majority government, so it doesn't really matter.
Right, and now it's a majority government.
Yeah.
So it's a new government that it's a totally new government that it's weird because the third reading was prior to the new government.
No.
the new
No,
government hasn't come
this
in
is
yet.
provincial. And
Oh, right.
it's-
No, it's not.
no, it's
No,
federal.
not.
this is federal.
Are we
but you're
trying to?
talking
I
about
don't
our
know
new
anything about
our new
government. Can you
government
tell me
was
about
I will
government?
explain.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Shit.
our regular
Yeah,
government.
yeah. Oh, my
federal,
bad.
yeah.
I don't know what I'm talking about. Just ignore everything I just
Right?
said.
Yeah,
He's the
so-
doctor, though.
No, because
If
I
I
got
have a heart
high.
attack right now, I'm in good hands.
So
Yeah.
hold on.
I got you,
Politics.
Abby.
You know what? I don't do
Yeah.
politics, okay? Oh man, I just look like a dumbass. Okay, well,
Hey,
let
you're
me-
the doctor.
No, that's 5 cents. Ass is like
Yeah,
that's a bad
dumbass
thing.
is like that's not really
That's
like
an
a swear
American
word.
5 cents.
Oh,
Okay,
you're
10 cents
changing
Canadian.
currencies too.
It's like it's a nickel.
There's levels of.
It's like no, that's a nickel. It's like a dime Canadian. So we're good. Right. So it's federal shit. So there is no change. It's liberal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Duh. I don't know what I was
Liberals,
They got
thinking.
everything
wanted
they
that
wanted.
Just
passed,
ignore anything
right?
I'm saying.
The liberals really
Okay.
wanted that
So
passed.
every-
So tell me what happened. Somebody talk to me
Go,
and tell me
Abby.
what's going on.
Okay, so federally.
Yeah, but like I want like the 3-minute version.
oh my God.
Of,
Okay.
It just went through this. It's
Okay,
just
so
federal liberal
so we
government
wasted a
has
whole
blah,
bunch
blah,
of
blah.
money
Right,
on a
that's what I
federal
wanna hear.
task force report that recommended all these great things like consumption spaces and dispensaries and all these great
Right.
things that they recommended. So that was completely ignored.
Okay.
And then the Liberal Party wrote C-45 as they thought
Saw fit.
as they saw fit. Then it got passed to the Senate, which spent the last 6 months arguing and interviewing people and getting opinions from people
Yeah,
at
but
all these
who-
committees.
Online opinions,
I went to
yeah.
one. I went to one.
you did that,
Yeah, I went
yeah?
to Ottawa and I watched one. It was whatever. I got actually pushed by a senator because I was going to eat her cheese, and she was like, "No snacks for you, Senator cheese." And
Really?
She, like,
That's
yeah, she like
awesome.
almost knocked me to the ground. It was awesome. Anyways,
Canadian cheese, man.
It's
Go
Canadian.
ahead.
Don't
That's
eat my
real.
cheddar. And
Was she French?
yeah, she was actually. Yeah, she was
How
from
did you know?
Montreal. And
I love Quebec.
anyway, so they interviewed and wasted a whole lot of time interviewing like all these specialists and people and
Who
crazy.
are the specialists?
Oh, everyone. everyone and their mama like
Everyone's a
went-
specialist.
Everyone,
now.
everyone
What drives
became a
me more
specialist all
crazy
of a
than
sudden.
anything else in the world. And right, tell me about it.
Everybody.
Like everybody, all of a sudden became a fucking specialist. Jeez.
Jared, please.
Okay, but this is the truth. Just driving me. Like what
I'm
made
laughing.
what made everybody? What do you think? Okay, I want to go back to. But I want to.
So I smoked a joint
Oh.
like 20 years ago. I think I'm going to become a cannabis consultant now.
Right? The consultants
We're going to
are
call it
the
cannabis
shit. They're the best.
consultancy.
I don't know. Somebody
And we're
just
going to
showed
charge
up here.
$500 an hour.
Insurance guy.
I once
The
smoked
insu-
a,
oh,
I
okay.
once smoked a joint,
He is-
and I feel like I
The
know
insurance
everything.
guy.
He's a specialist.
Are you now a specialist?
All right, yeah, we're
Cannabis?
By the way, insurance company that covers like that knows
Yeah.
what we do and covering
Yeah.
cannabis.
Yeah.
And what insurance company is this?
Plug it. It's the podcast.
Young's Insurance.
Come over here.
for
Come. He's gonna put his. He's gonna get on the
I'll
mic.
take the
Plug it.
plug.
Plug it.
Yeah.
Take the
Yeah.
plug. Take the
Right
plug.
here, talk.
So it's Young's Insurance, Stephen Warnica.
There you go.
There you go.
Steven.
got it.
And how do
What's
we?
up, brother?
Good to see
You got a website?
SteveWarnica.com.
There you go, guys.
Good. I also need you for cannabis or a retreat.
There we
I was going
go.
to call you on that actually.
Beauty.
Yeah, I
Love
think
it.
we should get around
It's
to
big
it.
business. Yeah, I had a weed wedding in Toronto,
Yeah.
and it took me. I had to get 3 different kinds of insurance, and
They're nuts.
Amy actually printed me fake Alpine cards for all my
Don't
guests.
tell me that.
I just ousted me.
So
I love
everyone
you, so
that
yeah, I
came to
did.
my wedding had
I
a
did,
fake.
all right.
No, you did. That was a
Marijuana
joke. You were-
It was a joke.
That
Yes.
was a joke. Fake
But I
LP
had
cards.
to-
That would be funny
I had
though.
to get 3 different kinds of insurance.
They weren't
for
even
my
LPs
wedding.
that existed. It
yeah.
was actually
That
a
was like a
joke.
joke. Oh,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was a very
There we
joke.
go.
Yeah,
It's
very
crazy.
big
Funny.
joke.
Why wasn't I invited
But
to
it
your
is
wedding?
kind of funny.
Because we had not spoken in 20-something years.
Oh,
at
that's
that
fair.
point. Yeah.
Okay.
You'll be invited to future. Oh, I guess no, you won't be
Why-
invited.
can you be remarried? And I want to go to that. That would be funny though. Imagine
No
that, like,
comment.
you just make up like a whole bunch of funny.
It looks like we're at a
LPs.
wedding here almost.
I know, because it's
Yeah, right?
nice in
We
here.
can hook it up right now.
All right,
Sure
sorry,
can.
we
We got the
totally,
insurance.
Yeah, I can't sign anything right now. I'm
You don't need to sign
recording.
anything.
All
How
right.
perfect is that?
I appreciate you.
I want
Listen,
this insurance.
you've been
Gonna
doing
service,
this. Listen, this guy Steve here was doing
Yeah?
it before anybody. I went from the top of the world to like everywhere. These guys were
I'll
amazing.
get your card, Steve, because I got people for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got people.
Yeah, these guys were
Yeah.
great. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay,
thanks, guys.
see you.
Have a
Cheers.
great day.
Okay,
Bye.
so
Great
hold on a
meeting you.
second. I want to go back to why
So the
everybody.
Senate.
But why? No, forget this. We're gonna come back to
talking
Senate.
about why everyone thinks they're an
Honestly, start talking
expert.
politics. I'm bored.
I know, it's
I wanna
boring.
hear
I'm like,
more.
where's
But I
Steve?
want to know why everybody thinks
No
they're
idea.
okay. We're 6 months later. Nothing's really changed aside from we'll talk about the bill in a sec. But why is everybody all of a sudden an expert? Does it drive you nuts that everybody knows I go to
Insane.
Lyft and everybody's an expert. I know best. I know best. Like,
No, you don't.
Can I tell you something that just happened to us?
yeah.
On our way here, we took a little detour because we saw a store called
Cannabis and Coffee.
Cannabis and Coffee.
Oh, that's why you were late. Okay.
My apologies.
Oh,
I needed
okay.
to make
And
a
I
little
felt
pit stop.
bad.
Yeah.
I felt bad. I'm like,
Don't
no,
make me
I
feel
told
bad.
I told her she'd be fine.
I'll give you an
and she'd be
extra
out of
10
here.
minutes, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, so here we are at Cannabis and Coffee. Walk in thinking we're going to have some cannabis and coffee. Well, we walked into the new expert store about cannabis and coffee who had no cannabis and was almost out
They
of
had
coffee.
a Grizzlers pre-roll cutout of the bear.
But no
and I
Grizzlers.
asked, well, my first question was, Grizzlers, I love Grizzlers. Can I
They
buy
have-
a pack?
they have no idea
we
what
don't,
you-
we,
they
we,
walk- you
no,
guys walking
and I'm
in.
wearing a verb
She's wearing a
shirt.
verb shirt.
And I'm Abi Roach, and I'm wearing a verb shirt. And I'm like, can I buy Grizzlers? The fact that I knew what a Grizzlers was should have told him that this woman actually knows like stuff about weed.
Like the
'Cause,
most,
Right?
they, the two wrong people walked into that store. Like they must have just died.
We took a photo.
Yeah, I would have taken a
we had no
photo.
idea who we were, so
They
I'm
didn't.
like getting coke
Yeah, and
all
if
over
they
my
have
face.
no idea who you are, like,
no idea.
How crazy
And
is
so
that?
I asked
Everybody's
about the
an expert.
Grizzlers, and he's like, "Oh no, not yet. We just have the cutout. We don't, right?" I'm like, oh,
Are you
the bear
serious?
cutout, right?" And then I was like, "All right." And then I was like, "Oh, do you have ice latte?" Because they had coffee. He's like, "Oh no, we don't have that yet." I was like, "Okay." And then she's like, "Oh, you have gelato." And they're
Yeah, you
like,
have gelato.
No, we don't have that yet." And I was like, "Okay, so you have." Your name is Cannabis and Coffee. You have no Grizzlers. You have a cutout of a bear.
God.
You have no ice lattes. And you have no
Where-
gelato.
Was this in Burlington?
But they're offering franchises.
of course. So this is what I'm saying. Like the whole world is nuts.
And he
Everybody's
says to me,
franchising.
Everyone's franchising
I know,
coffee
and
stores.
he-
I
and
know.
he says to me,
crazy.
and he says to me, he's like, well, you know, we're gonna have that available soon,
Right, and that
we're gonna be.
probably
And I,
sounded
what did
like
I
that.
say to him?
Legalization.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I said,
With
well,
legal-
best of luck with that.
With legalization, because somehow they know, but they're wearing tight
They
jeans.
didn't know us.
No.
Like, they didn't,
Yeah, it doesn't
it
make
was
sense.
so
Oh, it's so funny. Oh
It
my
doesn't
God.
make sense.
It was
But
good
they-
times. We
yeah,
left all
Why
the way
is
here.
everybody an expert? Like why? I don't know. It drives me nuts.
It is a little frustrating because I get a lot of phone calls from people who are new to cannabis who talk to an expert
Right.
who recommended.
Well, you're a real expert. I
Who
mean, you're-
recommended sativa for a sleep problem.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or like just nonsense things where you're like, well, if they can't sleep, why the hell would someone recommend
Right.
that? But they're an expert.
Yeah.
So they know what they're talking about. I think it's really a cash grab at this point. Anyone
Totally.
who smoked a joint
Really?
thinks they're an expert now.
Right. I
Yeah.
agree with
Consultation
that.
fees for bookings call type
Yeah.
of thing. You know?
No, it's crazy. Everyone's
It's-
got a clinic.
Yeah.
Everybody's opening a
And,
coffee
the
shop.
coffee shops.
The
are
coffee shop thing is ridiculous.
I
It's
saw like 3 on my way
Cannabis
here.
and coffee.
Yeah,
This
like
is the name of the coffee shop, but there's nothing in it.
There's
What
no-
did they have in there?
nothing. They have an espresso machine and some wood
Miss
fixtures.
Jody is doing that too. Jody,
Yes.
Jody Emery. She's got a coffee
Yeah,
shop
yeah.
going on. Same
Sure.
coffee, no
3
weed.
feet away from
Yeah.
the hot box.
Yeah,
but
I heard
anyways,
about that.
we're not going to go
We're
We're
there.
not going to
Yeah,
talk
okay.
about that,
We're not
but
gonna go there.
just saying there are a lot of coffee shops coming around for no fucking reason.
Right. So can you put your money in the?
Oh, I'm going to just
Please.
take all your money.
I'm gonna pour it back out
See,
anyways.
it's a good thing I don't swear because I'm like really far from the swear jar.
So hold on. Listen, I'm not against entrepreneurship.
Neither am
and
I.
Clearly
Nor am
we're not.
I.
I mean, I'm all about community and building community, and I think that's what you guys are all about as well. What is Can Do gonna do?
Well, Can Do is going to continue on until Can Do no longer can do. I don't
love
intend
that
on
name.
changing
Yeah.
any type of way we do
Tell me
business.
about it. Tell me.
That's it. I don't intend
You
on
don't.
changing the way we do business. I mean, we got into this for
How long have you been? Yeah, tell me about it.
my 4-year anniversary is in 4 days.
Wow.
So on the on
Congrats.
4 days. Thank you.
Good.
I say that quietly, very quietly. But I got into this because I wanted to give people access and affordable access and
Which you do.
face-to-face contact and have questions answered. And I still don't feel with the OCS that this is going to be accessible. It's not
What do you
going
mean?
to be.
It's not called the CCPC. Such an idiot. How
I
many,
mean-
what does that mean? I don't know, Ira.
CCPC.
Nothing. Okay. Anyway, just ignore me. It was a brain.
He's in
moment.
La La Land.
I am.
Um,
So yeah, sorry.
But yeah, no, I mean, I'm for patient access too, right? I'm not on the rec side, though I do completely agree with recreational. I more work with patients, so until I see that gap until that doesn't
Being
exist
bridged.
anymore, yeah, I will continue doing what I do.
Okay.
And that is that.
I
Can
think-
do, will do.
Right.
Do.
Well, even if so, like, I mean, you've not only do you fill a gap, but and not only are you an icon and a staple there, but you've
so
created. Well, it's true, but you've created such a massive community of people around you. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. I mean, why is Ontario saying no and the rest of, and all out west is saying yes? It doesn't make sense. Would you think of moving out west?
I was approached with that question, actually.
You'd be approached by everybody. I can't imagine.
Yeah, it's not out of the realm of something I would do. However, Ontario is my home.
Good.
My mother
And-
is here.
Right.
And just to put it out there, just because they have private retail, the government is still the middleman. The liquor
Correct.
board is still the middleman
Correct,
in every
yes.
province. So
Yeah.
the dream that we're going to be California or, you know what I mean?
Even
or Colorado-
California is a mess.
It's a
Oh,
mess,
trust me, I've been
exactly.
out there.
But I think that's what the governments are trying to avoid is the mess, right? They
Mm-hmm.
want it to be neat and orderly and red taped and bureaucratic and organized in a government fashion.
And very Canadian.
And very
Right.
Canadian and very nanny state and
It is, yeah.
you know,
Agreed with
yeah.
the nanny state, 100%.
Yeah.
So I read these. So I'm reading this. I'm reading the bill, which maybe I even read the wrong bill. No, I
He
didn't.
said I read
I'm
the bill.
I'm gonna say I probably I know the right bill.
Yeah.
So, and it like one of these things that I read. It says a company who distributes cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does that even mean? But it doesn't talk about it. Selling is a totally different thing. It
distributes.
It differentiates between selling and distributing.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you're gifting cannabis, if you're just like a compassion club,
Mm-hmm.
this all started from, I mean, any store we have, any dispensary we have, all this stuff started from the compassion club.
100%.
Right? That's where they all came from. I mean, sure, it came from, guys sitting in a
Yeah.
room, but the
It came
Is-
from Hillary Black, not guys sitting in a room. Let's
Right.
get that shit
Oh,
straight.
okay.
I use your money.
Okay, that's yeah, I like that. Who's
Give
Hillary?
women
Tell me
credit where
about
credit
right.
is due. You don't
Yes,
know who
I do.
Hillary
I want
Black
you to
is?
tell me
No,
who she
you
is.
tell them
I don't know who Hillary Black is. Tell me.
Are you kidding me? Hillary Black is like the woman of cannabis. Hillary Black is the
Well,
reason
this
all of this.
hold on. This is starting our. Well, this is why I'm doing this. The next three episodes are all women. We're doing a women in
good
cannabis
job. Yeah, then get her on
series.
here.
Sure.
Get
Tell
her,
me.
I don't know if she's in she's in Vancouver.
Okay, so
but-
tell me about it.
Well, she is the woman who basically got it started for the Compassion Center movement. She is the woman,
so
not basically. She is it.
Okay.
So Hillary Black is the reason we exist, really.
Really?
And that everything exists. I mean, not everything exists, but
Not everything.
not everything. I don't want to say everything, but she is a real big person in this
Well,
industry
I
that
think
we should.
I'm
She works
sure.
for Canopy
Yeah.
Growth Group now.
Oh, maybe that's why I know her.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's okay that she works for a licensed producer.
Yeah,
She
totally.
was very illegal previously. I
Really?
mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. I love when you just throw these little digs in there.
That's not a dig.
No, it's.
Oh, no. I mean, again,
It is
she
for the
paid,
legal market. What you just said, it was
Oh.
great. She was very illegal. She
No,
works for Canopy.
but she paved the way for
Yeah,
people
no,
like me.
certainly she did.
Straight up. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So let's go back to Can Do.
Okay.
What is Can Do gonna? You're gonna keep doing
Keep
what
on
you're doing.
doing what I've been doing.
Right. How does it work right now? And how's it going to change come this legalization? So you say you're just going to do what you do anyways, but
I will be.
And I want to hear about you because I know you just incorporated or did something.
A
Did
bunch
you
of stuff,
I want to hear about that too.
Okay.
But I want to know. Tell me. Tell me,
does
how does it work? How does
Well,
Can
Can
Do
works the same way as it has always before. You need a medical script in order to become a member. Without that, you can't become a member. We don't do recreational whatsoever. It's completely scripted by your doctor. We don't have any advertising, so it's mainly word of mouth or referral from your doctor.
I don't even know what Can doesn't even exist.
See?
Right.
Who's Can Do?
Right, I
Like
don't
Fight
know.
Club.
It's
But we
like
are very much like
Amy
Fight
Anonymous.
Club. Right?
You just did the whole thing. Like it's like poof, you're like a cloud of smoke.
But we don't have a store, like a storefront, a store with a sign. We do have a store, but you wouldn't know that we're there, and that just keeps our members safe. And I'm going
Right.
to continue to do that. We did have a dispensary boom here in Toronto, which everyone knows about. And
Hamilton too. We have. Like
oh yeah,
50 of them.
Hamilton's crazy.
It's
It popped
insane.
up like herpes on
Everywhere.
ravers, I heard.
Right.
But either way.
It's on waivers. That is insane.
That is
Yeah, I like that.
1990s
It is, yeah. Oh, I guess we're all the same age in here. Jeez. Yeah.
We're OGs. I
Yeah.
figured I'd pull out an old one.
That was good.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So when that happened, we had a lot of dispensaries, have storefronts, and walk-in places, and that's when it all became rec. I have never changed over to the rec market. I've always stayed in the medical market, and then I continue to do that, and I will continue to do that.
Really?
Because
Okay,
that's
good for you.
That's who I'm most interested in helping.
Right.
Recreational, I'm not helping you. You're
just-
gonna
'cause
get.
you get high.
You're gonna get that at the OCS,
Right.
and it's good for you. But I'm more on the medical side.
Interesting. Okay, that's really good to know. Because a lot of people, when I hear your name, they think, boom, she's like you're the face of recreational.
Isn't
People
that
think
crazy?
It's so weird. So
Crazy.
it's good to dismantle that myth,
No,
Like I know you started because of your car accident. We spoke about it in the beginning, like the last time you were on, and how you got into the whole cannabis world. But when I think about Amy, I think about she's with the music world and doing her whole thing over there,
And that's Amy Anonymous, not Can Do.
right. Okay, so
That's
what's
where the difference is.
okay? So tell me the difference.
What-
So who's Amy Anonymous?
Ooh, this is getting deep.
Who's
Now,
Amy Anonymous?
Who
I know.
is Amy? Well, Can Do is a company that's owned by me, Amy.
Right.
But Amy, I use cannabis medically and recreationally. Every time I use cannabis is not medical. I'm not
Okay.
in. I don't need that much cannabis medically. Straight up, I'm being real with you. Outside of my business, I work with many people who use cannabis medically and recreationally. I just happen to be with them. So it doesn't really change my business up. It's not Can Do. It's
Right, so it's not Can Do, but it's Amy Anonymous.
100%.
And as Amy
Totally
Anonymous, you're the face of one of the faces, many female faces of the medical or the recreational or lifestyle cannabis world.
I guess. I mean, I'm very flattered that you say that. I'm, again, pro-recreation.
Come on, I mean, it's just known. The two of you are like, that's where it doesn't go in my mind higher than
pro-medical,
that.
but in my shop, I only work medical. Outside of the shop, I'm so okay with rec.
Right.
I would open a rec store if
It's so
when the
strange
time
that
comes,
we
but
can't.
at the moment,
doesn't
I
make
would never want to
sense.
put my medical people at risk.
Of course not.
So I don't.
Good for you.
Thank you.
And what are you up to then?
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you two are good friends as well, which is
Yeah.
awesome. But
Abby.
in my mind, the two of you are is like the, you know, if you think of Toronto, you think about the cannabis world in Toronto. You can think
Yeah.
about a lot of people, but when you think about women in cannabis, I think about you guys.
Yeah.
So,
That's what we do.
so, which
And we
is
in cannabis.
amazing. And
Yeah.
you bridge gaps, and you're both activists. And when you have the hot box, right?
I
We
sure
spoke about
do.
Can Do. You have the
Yeah.
hot box. So what's going on now with legalization?
Well,
What's your
my
plan?
new slogan is, we were the revolution. Now you can join the evolution, right?
I like that.
Yeah,
We were
yeah,
the
yeah. So our
revolution.
new
Right on.
thing for like our
Right on.
expansion is that like it says
Right.
revolution. We crossed out the R, and now it just says join the evolution.
I like
Here's the
it.
first revolution. Get it? Anyways,
I like
That
that.
is
yeah.
so
Did you come
good,
up with
Abby.
that?
I did,
You're
and I
so
even have
smart.
an ape and stuff because
Really?
I love Planet of the Apes.
Really? The new ones or the old ones? I like the new ones.
I love the new ones. They're
too.
amazing. Oh my
Yeah.
god, the next one is
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
ridiculous.
There's another
Don't even-
one?
There is. Don't get me started.
Okay.
Planet of the Apes is a whole different show for me.
Right on, right on.
Anyways,
Okay,
it's a
okay.
whole different show. But yeah, so we incorporated a company called Hotbox Holdings,
Okay.
which will have 4 different sectors to it. So it's going to have a products sort of company. It's going to have a marketing company. It's going to have a franchise company, and then a location holding company to hold the locations for franchises. And essentially, the concept is that I don't want to jump through the hoops of going through a dispensary license. I don't want to wait for the government to like give me a license to do whatever. So we're looking to JV with licensed producers to create hotbox products, and we're going to keep doing what we do best, which is retail and creating environments for people to maybe not necessarily consume. It might be a bit of more of a problem, but we're creating a strategy and a business model that can be easily converted as the laws change. So we're going to continue what we're doing, which is creating a really great customer experience. So when you go to the OCS store or to, let's say even a Tokyo Smoke in Manitoba or wherever, right? Any legal storefront across Canada, you'll be able to get hotbox products. And when you go to, the way I say it is like when you go to the Loblaws to go buy your Keurig pods, you see Nabob
Right.
and whatever, and then you see McDonald's, Starbucks, right? You always will gravitate to what you had a great experience with, which is why Marley Coffee does so well with their
Right.
pods.
Tilray
Starbucks, you know what I mean? And Starbucks does really well. I'm just talking coffee. So what you're gravitating
Oh, I thought you
to
were
is a
Marley,
great... That's Marley Naturals. That's
Marley
totally different than
Naturals.
Marley
I thought you were
Coffee.
talking about- they're doing pretty good in the US.
They're doing really well. We
Yeah.
carry their products. Yeah. High Park, I think, owns them now, which is Tilray.
Right.
But
Yeah,
anyways,
yeah.
that's behind
Yeah,
the
yeah.
scenes stuff. It doesn't matter. But that's sort of the idea, is that we create a network of great experiences across Canada, hopefully into the States. Thank you for that Boston connection. We're trying to
Yeah,
make it
it's
work.
really cool.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're looking at different locations in the U.S. as well that will allow us to expand into what we want to do, and just work within the frameworks that exist, which is what I've done for 18 years. I've never jumped over the line enough to get arrested and never fell back far enough behind to not be 5 years ahead of everybody else.
Right.
So the concepts and the strategies that I'm coming up with now are
You're still 5 years ahead.
I'm still 5 to 10 years
This-
ahead of everybody else.
This is the problem that I find.
Yeah.
I find that, the things that I was mentioning 5 years ago for this industry, for like the
Yeah.
medical world,
Yeah.
when, nobody was ready to hear them. So you just get, it's not going to
They're
happen.
still not ready,
But,
yeah.
Right. But then I find myself falling behind now
Yeah.
because now they're all doing it. I'm like,
Yeah.
hold on a second. I was saying, and I'm trying to run and catch up with
Yeah.
these guys. And I'm like, I don't understand. I had the whole plan 5-6 years ago
Yeah.
to do the whatever model it is,
Yeah.
and now they're like, oh, now they have all these big companies that are now they're ready to do it, but
Yeah.
we're still I don't know, we're still pretty far behind. What happens to the hotbox?
The hotbox remains. So we have a strategy that even if tomorrow, which just to put it out there, two jurisdictions have now given notices to their local lounges to cease operations.
Talk about what they are. Say them
So
all out
yeah,
if we know
so
what they are.
Windsor shops down there have been given notice to stop consumption by July 1st,
Why?
and then. In Brampton as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Brampton was given notice this morning.
Smoke-free
So,
Ontario
So
What Smoke Free Ontario Act?
Smoke-free
So what
What's
happened
going on?
was the liberals, again, the liberals, God bless them. Anyways, because they had a majority, decided to do whatever they want and not listen to anybody else, and that's why they lost. So they passed Bill 174 unanimously. They didn't listen to any of the recommendations.
This is provincial?
This is
Now we're talking
provincial. Now
provincial.
we're talking provincial.
Okay.
They didn't listen to anybody. They didn't take in anything. They put out before they got kicked out of power, they did put out a interact with us, send in your information about consumption. So they passed one regulation that will allow hotels to have smoking rooms.
So if they allow hotels, why wouldn't they allow vape bars?
Because
I know
they
this is
didn't get
part of the thing,
because
no?
they didn't get there. They didn't get there, and then there was an election,
Right.
and then they went from majority to 7 seats. So now we have to start all over again. So now Doug Ford is in power. He doesn't come into power until 2 days before July 1st, which is when the new Smoke Free Ontario Act comes into play. So any regulations
Can it
that
be repealed?
it's going to be really hard. It can be regulated, so
Okay.
you can add amendments to it.
Right.
But then you have to add those amendments. So now we have to go back to the drawing board, which I'm so tired, Ira. Like,
Yeah, I
and
know.
Amy,
I hear you.
so
I'm
tired.
just listening to it.
drawing.
I'm
I'm
like,
so
I'm
it's
pretty-
exhausting.
I'm pretty exhausted.
Like, and
just,
I've been
right.
doing this
doing
literally
it for-
like I've been in Queen's Park for years now, like talking to these people. So now I got to start again with a whole
Right, a
new
whole new
government.
group of people.
Exactly. So, but for the city of Toronto, we have had a lot of wins, so that's really exciting. I got my city councillor Joe Cressy. He's the chair of the drug policy committee or whatever in Toronto, and he's also the chair of Toronto Public Health. So I got him to pass a motion on our behalf that moved the topic of lounges into Toronto Public Health. And they've been so busy with the safe injection sites that they haven't.
That they're now closing. Hamilton's closing theirs.
Are they?
really?
But Toronto's not because
Okay.
it's written into it's Toronto Public Health.
It was same with us, but then
Yeah.
the mayor's like, it's still, it's just, I don't know.
It's
I'm
a
so
mess.
confused.
I know.
weird.
It is
It's
a mess. It is really
but they
messy
just
to do it.
Really?
yeah, but they haven't had a chance to even deal with the question of
No.
lounges
Yeah.
because they're so busy with the opiate overdoses.
And they're actually coming out with news yesterday. Today's what the 9th? What is the
20th.
date?
20th, yeah.
So I think the government, I don't know if it was federal or provincial, again, that was coming out with an update on our opioid crisis as
yeah,
of
it'll
yesterday.
be federal because the
So then it
province
was
is out of
yesterday.
commission. Yeah, so they're too busy. And then
Yeah.
yesterday I had a meeting with a city councillor that's on the Toronto Licensing Committee, and he's going to take back the report that the city did in 2012 back to the licensing committee and put a motion forward to freeze all action against the existing lounges that are in the original report. So there's 3 of us that were open in 2012. So hopefully that will get passed.
You know what would
And
make sense?
Anyways, it's all crazy. but
Abby,
it's so
that's
much
amazing. Just in
red
case you guys
tape
didn't
and
hear what she
bureaucracy.
did, but
Yeah.
she just
Okay.
got that. Did you understand what she said?
You can repeat it.
Okay, basically,
I talk like people understand me,
She's saving
but they don't.
She's saving.
She got them to freeze it. somehow.
Exactly. It's because in 2012 they did they had a meeting and it was supposed to be evaluated and no one did it.
Yeah. No, there's a whole
So-
report.
Yeah. Well, there was a report. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
there was supposed to be a
follow-up,
That's
for
the
licensing
word I'm looking for. And
when
they never did it.
legalization came in and for medical. Yeah.
Oh,
So, and then they never did it.
well, really?
Abby, that's huge.
So
You're
I didn't
amazing.
know that. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Congrats to you for getting that to happen.
Yeah.
Well,
My
I
mind-
didn't get it to happen. I just
Well, at
worked
least you-
on
right,
getting
you
it
worked on it.
to not.
But
You
know
did a
what-
lot, Abby.
know.
Come on.
You know what would make sense to me?
Yeah.
What I mean, we have safe injection sites, right? Okay, I'm cool with that. Like, I'm not a prohibitionist at all. I don't care. I just, if you're gonna do it, just be
Yeah.
safe in an environment that's
Yeah.
safe. Why would you not have a lounge that you can be safe at the same time?
Yeah.
Like, would it not? Even I don't like to say
Smoking.
the worm heart. Well, I mean, I don't like smoking. Period.
No, I
like,
know,
you know
but
that.
that's good.
But you
Yeah.
could vape. There's so many other ways.
No, they
You
banned
can have-
vaping. They
Well,
included
they
vaping.
include- they did. I did
That's
read
in
that. The
there.
last
Yeah.
thing is and vaping. It was like they amended, so they put
It's brutal. Yeah.
vaping into this. I thought the last time we spoke, they were going to be doing something. The last time we spoke 6 months ago.
But then the
So
liberals were ousted.
So hold on. But they had a long time to make changes. They did not make
But
a
it's
change.
the liberals.
That what?
That don't do anything.
Correct. I agree with you. Okay, so we're talking. So we're on the same page, but I thought we weren't talking the same page.
No, we are.
Right. Right. The liberal government was elected to make change that they just didn't do because they don't care. You know, it's funny. I got to tell you a funny story. So, a friend of mine was walking with his daughter to synagogue. Go figure.
Okay.
And it was during election time. Mm-hmm. And on the lawn was like, in Hamilton is an orange town, right?
Yeah.
And so on the lawn although in his community it's probably a lot of blue as well, but it's probably everything, whatever. Anyways, so his daughter's like, "What's that orange sign? Is that the person who cuts their grass?"
Yeah.
And he's like, no, that's the people that are trying to help our city. Mm-hmm. She goes, no, how are they helpful? Like, what does that mean, Dad? He goes, well, let's look at it like this. The blue guys, the guys with the blue sign, they give you money to find somebody to cut your own grass.
Yeah.
So you know best, go cut your own grass. The guys in the red, they say, well, give us your money and we'll decide who's best to cut your grass. Yeah. Then the orange guys, they tell the blue and the red signs to give us their money and they'll decide, maybe they'll use it, maybe they won't, they don't know, they'll probably just put it on the ground somewhere.
Yeah.
So that's sort of
Great way to teach a kid politics.
That's how he taught the kid. Anyway, that's just an aside. It's just right. Yeah. Well, we may or may not figure out. Anyway, that was just an aside. So okay, so I don't know. What the hell was I talking about? I was talking
Jew skiing.
Right.
Jew skiing. It all goes back.
Oh man. We're okay. Back to Bill C-45.
Yeah. It's happening.
It's happening.
Yeah, right?
But what are the changes? So the last time we spoke, we basically said everything that was going to happen. Mm-hmm. I want to hear, the pros and the cons of this thing. I want to hear both of you. What do you think? Yeah, the pro.
My child won't be arrested, and your child for petty cannabis convictions in the future. Mm-hmm.
That's huge.
Such a
Not
huge
unless he's over the age of another child and he's selling that child cannabis. And then
but we're not talking about selling,
14.
but he can get 14 years
for general holding of cannabis. Yeah. I'm speaking, but Abby, you make a very good point because I keep gloating about that. But you're very correct because sure, if he's just holding it on himself, but if he sells it to anyone, that's completely gone. So again, it's not legalization.
No.
Hold on a second.
That's right.
But selling, I mean, like. Selling. So you think that it's okay for a kid to sell another kid cannabis?
I was 14.
That's how I got cannabis.
I was 14 purchasing and selling cannabis.
A couple of times.
Half y'all probably came to my school.
We did go to high school together.
Oh God. Oh shoot. What? Blah 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 blah. Delete that.
Just throw change in the
throw
jar.
Fuck it.
Sour.
Yeah. So right. So tell me. You have a son?
I do. Old is he? I have an 11-year-old child.
So you said that you're happy to know that he won't be arrested for holding cannabis on him. Well, first, no minors are. I think they have, they took out the whole minors altogether thing.
I can't remember. I have to read that part
I'm pretty
again.
sure they took the whole minors thing out. There might be some sort of juvie thing for people who are selling it. That was, I think, the only thing. Would you mind if your kid still can? What do you think?
Well, straight up, my kid's 11 and does not use cannabis. He knows it as medicine. He knows it as proper terms, too. I started using cannabis at 12. I was 12 years old when I started smoking cannabis. That's a year away from my kid. Would I be happy about it? No. Would I be upset about it? I don't think I'd be upset.
It's a really tough question, and there's no right answer.
Oh, no, 100% more educational. I remember I was grounded for a month when my mother caught me smoking cannabis, so I had to, so then I just smoked it on the roof of the place I was grounded from.
Right.
I think at a reasonable age, I mean, I honestly think maybe at 16 would be more of an appropriate age, but again, I started at 12. Where did I get my cannabis from? 14-year-old probably. I bought it from a 14-year-old.
Do you think that at that age, I know it's a little off topic, but do you think at that age one has the abstract thinking to understand what they're putting inside their body at the age of 12 or the age of 13?
I think kids are quite smart these
really
days.
Smart.
Yeah, I knew what I was putting in my body. I was excited as hell.
Right, but did you understand? Right, they play Grand Theft Auto.
They pick up
right, so
ogres
kids
and
are growing up a little quicker than usual.
Yeah,
but
very much.
the idea that first of all, our frontal lobes don't fully develop. Our executive motor function doesn't probably develop till our late 20s, both men and women.
Stalking doctor.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's the part that's I am. The part that
I
tells
thought men didn't actually ever mature
Right.
past 5.
It's-
But that's
so okay.
tell us
so
all
here's
about
the
this.
thing. Yeah. So here's the thing. I mean, the evidence saying now both men and women, or how
all
are
the girls in the room are like, blup, blup.
Jesus. This is like, at the end of the day, we both don't develop it till the same time. I'm sitting here trying to argue my point.
And you just develop it later, though.
Right.
No,
So-
so that's-
okay, oh, stop, all of you.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, my point being is, I mean, even me, like, I broke my neck, let's say, when I was, 13, okay? Because I was doing, something stupid.
Were you skiing?
No. Actually,
Jews on skis.
The rest of my body has
Name of
been broken
episode.
from
Yeah.
skiing, which
Yeah.
is so. Oh, I wish I brought this. Oh, Naz made me this like massive poster, cannabis doctor poster thing.
Hilarious.
Weed saves lives, doctor changes world in
That's
Canada
awesome.
for my 40th. It was really cool. I wish
nice.
I had it here. Oh man. Okay, I'll have to take a picture and post it somewhere. It's really cool. It was really nice. Anyway, she made up all these like lines and slogans. Okay.
Aw, nice.
Anyway, but my point being was, I mean, now of course I'm old and everything. I like just
Middle-aged,
just
please.
jumping right, just jumping off like off the curb. I'm like, oh, that's activity.
Yeah.
Would I have done what I did when I was 12? When I was, I probably still would.
All
When I
right.
was,
Let's
Anyway.
put it this way. Me and you have known each other since we were 15 years old.
Yes.
I used to smoke a shit ton. Please.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Swear jar.
Hold
My
on, I gotta
first,
pour some
yeah,
out.
my
We're
first.
getting close to the end.
Mine
This is
is
how
not.
we roll. We pour
Me
it
and
out,
you
put it
have
back in.
shared
Right.
our fair amount of
Yes,
cannabis.
yes,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
I was a kid in the 90s. I did the rave thing.
Yeah, we all did, yeah.
Lines and pills and everything. I tried
Pacifiers.
everything.
God,
Whistles,
pacifiers.
candy
Remember the
necklaces,
pacifier?
everything.
and
But
the
hey,
suckers.
Oh,
the point
such
is,
a
you're a doctor.
loser.
I'm a
Tiger
successful business person. We're Amy as well.
Thank
you
you,
know what I
thank
mean?
you.
Successful business person. We're all
Women.
very
You're
smart.
women. You're amazing
Person.
women.
Exactly.
Humans.
Anyways, we're very, very, very smart intellectuals,
Yes.
I would say,
I
right?
think so.
All
Yeah.
are very productive.
Yeah.
We all did a butt ton of drugs as kids.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
guess what?
we had.
We
We're
turned
all
out
right.
okay.
We're okay.
Kids turned out fine.
Yeah, the kids will be all right. You know? The
A$AP
kids will
Rocky
be all right.
song.
That's a
Oh.
good
Exactly.
movie.
The
That was
kid-
a movie.
a
Was
great
that a
movie.
That movie too, but it's a
yeah.
song. It's also a song.
Yeah, the lesbians
It's on
will do
testing.
well at raising the children. A$AP
Right.
Rocky will be fine. But it's like, but it's true, right? Like we worry so much about these small details when in reality parents should be concentrating on
The important
on the
things.
important stuff, like
100%.
teaching their children stuff and giving them a good upbringing, and
Like educate them
Teaching
on.
them the truth
Yeah.
about it instead of
Right.
using fear
What do you-
tactics.
how do you teach
Fear
your
tactics.
How do you teach your son about
Well,
it?
I've used cannabis the entire time my son's been alive.
well, of course.
So he knows
unless
it.
you were 11
as a-
when you had him.
Right.
But-
Yeah, like,
don't know.
so he knows it. I don't smoke with him beside me. But he knows like when mommy has gone to medicate, and I just teach him the true things about it. Like he knows I use it for pain. He knows other people use it to stop their seizures. I told him, like this is illegal. He understands it's illegal, and what he doesn't understand is why the police would want to arrest me for helping people. So, I show my son the compassionate side of cannabis.
And you're showing them the education.
And education.
And that's
Education
probably
is
the truth.
key.
Yeah.
There's no stigma attached. And the fact that my kid's educated, his friends ask questions.
He must
and-
feel empowered by
He
that.
does,
Yeah,
actually.
you're
He's
teaching
like,
him good self-esteem.
I know cannabis. He was wearing a licensed producer hat the other day to school.
Really?
Yeah, and then the teacher goes, "What's that?"
Just
He's
one
like,
of your licensed producers that you made up for somebody's wedding?
No, it's not my fake licensed producer.
Yeah.
Don't tell Canopy.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Wasn't my fake licensed producer, but it was 7 acres, and his teacher asked what it was, and he goes, "It's a cannabis company. You should Google it." That's what my kid told
really?
his
Kid,
teacher.
drop that
Him.
mic.
You know?
I think the reality about this is legalization is not going to disappear in 2 months after it
Exactly.
happens. We're 60 days
What do you
away.
mean? Sorry,
Like,
I'm slow like that.
in 60
Legalization
days-
won't disappear.
it's not going to disappear.
It's appearing. It's not disappearing.
That's what
It's-
I'm saying.
it's
Yeah.
We're
appearing.
we're 60 days away from day one, right?
Right.
60 to 90 days away from day one. And then we have lifetimes of things changing, right? So if you think about it, when alcohol prohibition ended, all this was conversation as well.
Right.
What am I
It
going
must
to
have
tell
been.
my children and blah, blah, blah. And now, people
It's
drink
alcohol.
wine around their kids. They take them into the
Was
LCBO.
it that like that's so weird to me? But I guess you're right. They must have had
right?
the same
But-
conversation.
Exactly. And like as things change and become the norm, and that's why I'm not in this big rush to like, like get in there, right? It's like it's
gonna be
still
a
going to be
process.
legal in 2 years.
It's going to be a process.
It's
It's
so-
funny.
yeah.
The dispensary, Can Do, and Hotbox, they become like the speakeasies.
Yeah.
Or they were the speakeasies,
Yeah.
and they become like more mainstream. But keeping it that way
Yeah.
for like, where you can still go to a speakeasy in
Yeah.
Toronto,
Yeah.
that or at least they're made to look like they are, is kind of cool. Like it's kind of a different vibe. So I kind of like that idea.
Yeah.
So on the positive note, you mentioned your son won't be arrested. Are there other positives? Like you're going to be able to have grow 4 plants on your
Day
own.
one is here.
In Ontario.
right.
That's the biggest thing. is
Yeah,
that
day
legal-
one.
day
Yeah,
one is here.
legalization is happening.
Right.
That's huge.
And I posted
So we
this
forget
morning.
that.
Yeah, and I posted this morning. It's like the war on cannabis ended. Officially in 60 to 90 days, it will be officially over in Canada.
Right.
But then the new battle becomes, the inclusion of the market and also the amnesty of the people that were arrested before. So you have, and then being able to include those people in the new market, right? So there has to be a relaxation of everybody, right? And just be able to include people
Right.
into this new market, whether it's easier licensing, whether it's a broader selection of businesses and also products for consumers to buy. Because we forget the number one thing that will be the winner in legalization is being able to carry that consumer from the black and gray market into the new market. And if there isn't a need for me as a consumer to buy legal product as opposed to the huge, you know what I mean? Or it's too difficult, or it's just too much of a hassle, then you've already lost at legalization. They have to figure out how to make it palpable and how to make it acceptable for people who are consumers now. There's a lot of information out there for the new consumer. There's a lot of businesses out there that are like, I heard a guy the other day say, oh, think about the 70% of people who don't consume right now and are going to consume, they're going to come to us. And it's like, not really. If my 70-year-old mother, sorry, Mom, you're 66. Anyways, if my 67-year-old mother tomorrow wanted to smoke a joint, she can, right? There's nothing stopping her. She can call me. She can call my husband. She can call my
wouldn't.
brother-in-law. She can go down the street to the thing, right, to the dispensary. She can come to you. She can get a medical thing. She's got a bad back.
get insurance for
She
it
can get
now,
insurance. She
by
can
the
get
way.
all kinds of things. She doesn't want to. Right? That's a reality. So there's a percentage of society out there that never will, right? So we need to focus on the 30 to 40% of people who already do, and how do we get them interested in becoming legal consumers?
So that was you raise a very good point, because when it comes to cannabis, especially around things like even the way addiction presents, it's a very ritualized sort of, and this is all because of prohibition, by the way.
Yeah.
Prohibition created the culture of cannabis use, and the way that it presents. It's a very ritualized action. You smoke it in the same way, in the same setting, in the same location. You go to your little cubby on the roof of Can Do in the back, and it's with the same people, and it's in the same way, and that sort of helped develop the black market. And I don't know how quickly, legalization may help for the, 10, 20% of the 40%, the 20% that are waiting to, they recreationally like having a glass of wine, or they're recreationally might as well just, go smoke a joint. Hopefully they're going to vape it. But the other 20% that are, the regular users, how quick are they going to be to adopt this legal market? Or they're just going to go to the regular places because they've already created those habits.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Buddy Boy's waiting for me regardless. He's going to pick
Right.
up the phone, and,
It's just so much easier still.
yeah.
Well, with the 40
And the strains that
OCSs
they
too,
have,
here,
they
like,
trust them. Who
Exactly.
trusts what's
And not just that, but it goes back to the point of how easy is it for people to enter the legal market. So if I'm Joe Farmer and I've been growing cannabis since 1978 or whatever, you know what I mean? And I've got everything set up and everything's like ready to roll. I got my business is rocking. Where is where's the opening for me to become legal, and B, like how easy can I do it? Is it worth it for me? And then the profit margins. So you got to remember the government is the middleman.
Yeah.
So now you're going from farmer to broker to dispensary or straight to the consumer dealer.
It'll be from an LP to right direct at a wholesale.
To the government. The government is
$10 a gram
exactly,
plus
but the
whatever.
government is the broker.
Yeah, exactly.
So is it worth it? Will I make more of a profit being a micro grower with all this nonsense and all these hoops that I have to
All
be a
these
poodle
fees.
jumping through, or can I just keep doing me and keep doing
Right.
what I'm doing and keep
Which
going
is-
through my line?
Which is what Amy says. I'm just going to
Exactly.
keep doing me. Where do you
Exactly.
see? How do you see yourself shifting if you needed to into? I mean, from Can Do. I know where you are personally. You're already there. There's no change whatsoever. But how are you going to? How would Can Do change into? I mean, I have some really cool ideas, to be honest.
Feel free to share them.
You know that
I love
that would.
ideas.
Because there's, even turning into wellness centers sort of picture, like into that whole space. A lot of, I think, dispensaries have a huge opportunity to do something like that. But
Which I'm not opposed
'cause-
to, but
I know you enjoy, but you're great at what you do. So how do you see yourself shifting? You don't even want to. I see you don't want to, but we have to somehow.
I know it's weird because I've been doing this for so long. I just had this conversation earlier. I kind of feel a bit
It's frustrating.
frustrating is
Is
for
an
lack of better word.
I know. You can swear here. I get it because
It's a jar.
I've gone through 4 changes myself in 8 years, but you're like from what you've done is even more.
You know,
so.
it's a little bit of identity loss at
Yeah,
this point,
I
straight
agree.
up. And I know it sounds
agree.
weird. And
No,
I'm
it
not
doesn't. It
whining
doesn't
at
at all.
all, but
No,
I
it doesn't.
woke up with a little bit. I felt a little bit less
I-
of my identity was there.
I feel like the same. No, you could say that's
Okay, thanks.
that's
'cause
real.
I feel really like I'm just being real as
Yes.
fuck.
Yes,
Swear
that's
jar.
good. No, say that because I feel the same way.
Like, and I was going to ask you, Ira, if you don't mind me asking,
feel the
how
same
do you
way.
feel? Because with recreational coming, I feel medical is going to get swept under the rug, and I'm really for medical.
Right. So it's funny. I get asked that same question too, and actually, that's a really good way to identify it as a little loss of identity because and I'm sure most people who have been who have been advocates like we have for so long. Finally got what we asked for, but then at
Sort
the
of?
same time, has our fight ended? Like, do we?
It's only day one.
Right. It's day.
Right?
Right. I get it.
We're
So-
at minus 60
Joy-
to day one.
Right, I know,
Yeah.
but we remember we were fighting so hard. It's like with the end of the battle, when you come back from war, it's like, what do you do now?
New battle.
It's right. So
Right? That's
join
it.
the
New battle.
evolution.
Exactly.
So that's where join the evolution.
The
'cause
revolution has ended.
The revolution-
Now we need to make that
need to build
evolution
it.
work for us, right?
Yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah,
So because
really
I felt
hard.
the same way as and I'm sure we're not the only ones. And
Oh,
it's,
no, we're not.
But I think as a leader, it's important for you to talk about it because it'll help other people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad you mentioned it because I haven't that's how I feel even, but I wasn't going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So feeling like there's a little bit loss of identity. Now, what I can tell. What I can say, I mean, I feel like, but the question is, what defines me? What defines who we are, right?
Like,
We're-
it's
I'm not defined by what I do. I'm and over time. I mean, I've had my license suspended for
Yeah.
freaking charter, the ridiculous things for
Yeah.
being an advocate, and then I felt a massive loss of identity. But then I realized that doesn't define who I am. I want to say I'm proud of it, and because clearly I'm not, and I've learned a lot from those types of things. But what defines me is me, not the things that I do. And so knowing that I have that we have all of these characteristics, they can be used towards parts of the industry now that need our help.
Yeah.
Very
So I'll
true.
give you an example of where I see it moving. I don't think that medical. It's not going to be like the United States. The reason why is because the United States is not federally legal.
Yeah.
They are statewide. They are a state by state decision on legalization. Canada is a federal program.
Yeah.
So their medical insurance companies, they don't have an option.
Yeah.
Insurance will never, until it's legal in the United States or in any of the federally somewhere else, no insurance company is going to step in
Yeah, or bank. Yeah.
or bank or whatnot. But I'll tell you, in Canada, 3 days ago, there was already a press release by Epic, which Evergreen Pacific Insurance Company. They're going to start covering cannabis.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You know, they were the first people to come out.
It's a commodity.
And
It's going to be a legal commodity.
And if they can save you 20%
Yeah.
on your cannabis, as long as you're real and you don't come and say, I need 5, 10 grams, 20
Yeah,
grams
yeah,
a day, but
for
you're
sure.
real with how much you're using. Let's say, you know, really, she's wanting me to stop, but I'm not. Oh, okay. You're looking at me
Are
like
we
I'm
having
all...
a break? Because I'm going to get snacks.
Okay, yeah. Okay, well, after this point, we'll
Okay,
take a break.
okay.
So, you know, they're going to come in and the insurer is going to start covering cannabis for medical purposes. When that starts happening, and it is already,
And Shoppers Drug Mart.
Well,
yes.
Shoppers, they're going to be a byproduct of all that.
Yeah.
I've already worked on. I created, helped create the educational program for
nice.
McKesson to
Yeah,
run it all out. I'm doing it right now for
Beautiful.
another group
Yeah,
called
yeah.
National Access Cannabis.
Yeah.
And
And you're working with that.
It's
Nice.
going to be a whole play for pharmacy.
Yeah, yeah.
But the insurance, they still don't cover it.
Yeah,
they're
no, of
just
course.
going to distribute it.
Yeah.
But the play is going to be like what's going to make the big change here, especially a divot to the recreational market, where you're going to still have a medical market, a massive one, is coverage.
Yeah.
As soon as you have coverage, and these guys are already covering it, if you could save 20%, if it's going to cost you $8 and not $10, $12, or let's say $11.50, $10 plus HST plus the dollar excise tax, so $12 or whatever it is. Let's say 10. I don't know. Whatever it's going to be, somewhere around 10. If you
Make
can,
up your mind.
I don't know, but I don't know.
It'll be
what
expensive.
10 to 12?
yeah, somewhere between $10 to $12. If you can be paying $7 to $8 with an insurance policy,
Yeah.
you know that you're going to go to that.
100%.
Is it worth the hassle? For example, the question is it worth it to go to a doctor for medical people?
Yeah.
It can't be so less expensive that all the rec people come, because really,
Yeah.
as a physician and you as an advocate for medical, you're worried about the medical patient. You don't want the abuse. Like those people just take
100%.
advantage of us, right? So it can't be like dirt cheap, because then you get, that kind of, whatever. I mean, it shouldn't be illegal anyways, but I'm saying for insurance purposes. And so what we're going to start seeing is as soon as insurance companies start getting in, and we already have one that's in, the people aren't just going to go right to this rec world, because
Yeah.
they can save 20% by being in the medical world, and they can get medically followed, which is covered now since 2014. I worked my ass off for 4 years to get OHIP to cover the cost of an assessment.
Thank you.
And they cover the cost
That's
of assessment.
amazing.
Right. So we don't have to pay any clinic that charges you money,
Yeah.
for a cannabis assessment and all this kind of business.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Can you
Yeah.
repeat that one more time? Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
People are
No, but
charging astronomical fees
because
to do
they don't
this.
have.
There's whole companies.
Whole companies
Just based on
doctor
that.
bartering. That's what the doctor
it's
barter.
nuts. Yeah, so
it's crazy.
So like for example, Synergy, I haven't since 2014. I haven't charged a patient a penny to see a doctor.
Nice. Good
but
for you.
does it cut in? Does it cut into what the physician earns? Of course it does, but
Yeah.
that's not the point. The point is everybody has the right to earn a living, of course.
Yeah.
Before I had to, do you remember in 2012, we'll take a break right after this.
Okay.
Remember in 2012,
2012,
I'm sure you remember when I had dreads
Yeah.
and Global National showed up
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
basement of one of these clinics I was
Yeah.
working at, and it was maybe 2011.
Yeah.
And these doctors charging healthcare to access, or
That's
doctors
the first
charging
time I
access.
caught back up
Right.
with you after high school.
Right,
I was
that
like,
is.
I went to high school with that guy. Yeah.
Doctor, why are you charging to access healthcare? I mean, they didn't understand at the
Yeah.
time. It's a federal program.
Yeah.
OHIP is a provincial insurance company.
Yeah.
Basically, just look at them as the largest insurer in Ontario. And they basically told me, you can't charge us because it's a federal program. They said, I won't swear, but they go fuck yourself, and charge your patients.
Yeah.
And so I advocated for it for the next 3 years, and they finally started covering the cost of assessment. And good for OHIP. Congrats to them, because they recognize that it is a medicine to do that. But back then we had to charge patients. You do not have to charge a patient to access this system. That was a massive barrier.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist like that anymore. Sure, a lot of patients come in and don't know about cannabis.
Yeah.
And so there you can, if there's if you're spending 2 hours with them for education,
Yeah.
you have sure, there can be like a one-time fee,
yeah.
but like $50.
Classes
We're
or
not
whatever,
talking.
yeah.
$600.
No, it's well. Here's $50 a year.
Yeah.
That's
Beautiful.
if you want education, and then you could literally call Tyler any day of the week for $50 one time a year. Like how crazy is that?
Yeah.
So, but my point being, you don't have to charge for these things anymore. So, and I think the insurance coming around, the medical market is going to remain. So my goal with you is to figure out a way, like we got to figure out a way to make that work in the medical world, because it for sure can, and with your passion and what you're doing, we're going to do that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what
Gotta
I mean?
happen.
It's
It has
going
to
to.
happen.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my play. That's what I have to say about the medical market. I want to hear more about where.
After the break?
After the break. Fine, let's take a break. Fine. Break. I would just have the three of us on every week.
Look at this chair. It's my new favorite chair. I want one. Can I have one? He's not going to let me have it, but...
No, you see, you ask it. No, Amy.
Come on.
No.
This is a really nice chair.
That's so. But I will tell you about this guy. When every insurance company said no to me, he's like, "Let me work on it."
Came back.
He did. He brought. He did.
He did come back.
All those. He was like the one guy that's like, "Let me work on my company,"
Really?
and he got them to cover it. And that was like 4 years ago.
He seemed very cool.
He likes the cannabis. You find like people that like the cannabis, doesn't matter what industry they're in,
like the cannabis.
they're into it.
I'm going to fight for it, I guess.
They're into it. Have you ever heard me sing? Don't call. Oh, that's I go right to fucking Eddie Vedder because I'm like a '90s kid. I'm like, don't call me daughter. Don't call me daughter. I'm fear to. I may sound a little grassrootsy there.
That's my homie.
Dong diddy dong diddy dong dong dong.
Bing, bada, bing, bada, bing, 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 bing.
Yeah, dong dong dong.
Okay, let's do it.
Abby, you guys gotta go.
You have the best. I wanted to get the daughter in there, but I
So-
only got the end of it.
Don't me, don't. Right, you know what I'm saying.
I'm an Eddie Vedder.
Not fear to. Oh, fear to. Her will remember me.
My favorite song was Black. But
That's a good song.
I know.
You know what's funny? Naz always says she's like, everybody says, why can't you remember the words to any songs? I go, but somehow I know every song from the 70s and the 90s. Like why is that? Like you ask me any Joplin song, I know it. You talk to me about Queen, I can fucking rhyme off Queen. But ask me anything like in today's but I listen to the songs like 100 times. I just can't pick up lyrics.
Because there's less and less storytelling going on in music.
Which makes you
Is that what it is?
I think so.
100%.
Yeah, it's throwaway lyrics, right?
Right. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Like meaningless
There
shit.
was a journey. There was imagery. There was like.
I love
there was
it.
Right.
substance to it.
That's cool.
Not so much anymore.
Well, I mean, Lady Gaga, it's funny because I like Lady Gaga. And so it's funny because she's a storyteller.
Yeah.
Anyway, I like Lady Gaga. Yeah, look, she's laughing, Marissa. Honestly, are we recording, by the way?
Lady Gaga. What does she sing again?
What do you mean?
La, 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 la.
No, Lady Gaga doesn't sing la 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 la.
La la. What's that song?
What are we talking about?
No, that's Rihanna.
I don't know.
Sorry, I shouldn't. I'm not trying to.
I don't
What is
listen.
La 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 la. It doesn't matter.
La, la, la. No, we need
No,
to know
that's
that.
the Smurfs.
La 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 la.
La, 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 la.
Okay, so let me tell you a little funny Lady
No,
Gaga
tell us
story.
about Lady
I
Gaga.
will. So my second
you.
wedding.
My second wedding. Every good
Donald
story
Trump.
starts off with
Okay,
But
don't
second-
ever say that again.
my second wedding.
No, so I wanted to walk down to Lady Gaga, Born This Way.
Oh boy. Okay.
Maybe I was
Nice
born this way, but I wanted to walk down to the Chipmunks version of it. It was just really cool. I had just watched Chipmunks
And you're
2 with my youngest
divorced
kid.
from this person
No,
now?
I'm married to Naz.
That's a good lady.
No, she wouldn't let me do it.
Okay,
It was-
good
I got kind of like there was a
I
big
was like,
X on that.
yeah, I was like,
Like, are you nuts? What kind of what are you? That's
Yeah.
like,
How did the Chipmunks can you sing the song for us?
No, I can't get
Come on,
that
do it.
high.
You can do
No. Anyway, okay. So did I just do that?
You did.
You did,
Totally
you
did
did.
do that.
You did that.
Anyway, I think that's one of the best songs ever.
Use that all the
written.
time.
How is your hair? No, chipmunks, squirrels, chipmunks.
Squirrel.
Okay. let's finish off here, guys. We actually took a break. You know, so there's always the firsts with you guys.
Always.
I've never taken a break.
We were talking for so long.
Right.
Thirsty.
That's right. I'm with you. Usually we just stop, but
There weren't
we have
enough
so much to
snacks.
talk about. And I got these
Thanks for the snacks.
damn
Snacks.
Amy snacks. Like, honestly, like who are you? What are you? Like the
I am
famous
Amy.
Yeah, I noticed
I
that.
require snacks.
It's a
Yeah.
part of the rider.
Right,
Snacks.
it's a rider,
Yeah.
exactly. I get my own
You
rider.
know why I don't work with all those? Because of those damn riders. Have you ever read some of these riders?
I see the riders.
Why
I'm
you mean with lilac?
backstage, dude. I have
It's
seen
not
some
normal.
crazy shit on
Yeah.
riders.
Like, what's the craziest thing you've seen on a rider?
Just different types of weird like spreads and
yeah, it's
stuff.
so
like,
strange.
Like, where do you expect this spread to come from? Like, it's like from a whole other country.
Yeah,
Like, you
yeah.
didn't even know it existed, and you want this like blah 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 caramel apple.
Right, and it has to be in this
Yeah.
specific fridge,
yeah.
in this like
I-
with 3 little marshmallows.
It's like you're gonna get some gummy bears and shut up.
Fuck your helmet.
Oh yeah, oh god, yeah, I was gonna swear too.
I
So
think
I
we
just
need
put
more
it in for you.
Producer, we need more change.
No, we're gonna stop swearing now.
No, we're
Okay,
not.
let's. You know we are.
We
We're gonna
have
stop.
5 swear words left.
Yeah, I know.
3
but
of
some
those are probably mine.
Well, we only have 2 good ones, and then there's like 3 small swear
Yeah.
words.
So like dumb.
No, don't we're
Yeah,
swear.
we're not even
done.
gonna use it
Okay,
because
yeah,
I
we'll
don't want to win it.
Right. So okay. So let's just finish up. Final thoughts. I don't know how much we spoke about Bill C. Bill C.
Final thoughts.
No,
What?
we
Is that
spoke
Jerry
about the
Springer?
pros.
Yes.
And we spoke about the pros of legalization. And in general, if we had to summarize the bill, it's going to take away the most important thing is
It's gonna take.
take away your son from being arrested.
Yeah.
You can carry up to 30 grams on your person at any given time in public. I don't know how you're going to transport if you have more than one clone or I don't know, or can't. You have to, I don't know. It's all weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, how are you going to enforce that? It's kind of
Yeah,
ridiculous.
the writing's not all in the sand yet. Yeah.
And then, like you said, the most important part is it's legal.
Yeah.
Like we've got the revolution is over.
Now
Join
we're
the
in
whatever other
join
word.
the evolution.
Join the
Yes.
evolution. I forgot that was a good word.
So I'm the marketing genius.
Yeah,
You are a marketing genius. I actually love it. I love it.
I'll tell a funny story
And,
later.
and
yeah.
there's a lot of work. No, I want to hear the story.
No, it was like something I saw on TV last night. It was like
Okay.
a woman's like marketing group, and they're like, "We have this new woman's hand soap. What's going to be on the bottle?" And the one lady's like, "Butterflies." She's like, "Of course, there's going to be butterflies." She's like, "Pink." She's like, "Of course, there's going to be pink." Anyways, it was hilarious. Yeah,
Okay.
That's what women want.
yeah, exactly.
Unicorns. Throw a unicorn.
There
on
have
that.
to be unicorns.
Who doesn't like a unicorn?
It was
Well,
just
I
funny.
like
Yeah,
unicorns.
it
I
was just
don't,
really
actually.
good.
No,
Yeah.
I don't mind them. It's
Not
the
about
unicorn.
fake stuff. You gotta
I'm
be
always
real.
looking for the unicorn.
Be real or go home.
Search for the
You
unicorn.
are searching for you. See
So
that?
you gotta search for the
I
unicorn.
just know they don't exist.
Unicorn meat.
So yeah, well, yeah,
house
obviously,
hippo. Yeah.
it's vegan meat. Even if you find a unicorn, you
With
can eat the
extra
meat.
I
sparkles.
could eat a unicorn meat.
Yeah, because it's totally
Oh,
vegan. It's not real.
Sounds like a great dinner.
With extra sparkles.
Yeah, it's vegan.
we were talking about
What are you
cannabis,
eating?
though.
Vegan unicorn. Right. We get right off topic. We're talking about vegan unicorn meat. Okay.
Maybe the unicorn
Can I,
wants to go
can I just
skiing.
like break in?
Right, we put
What's
the-
up with the game? How come we didn't play it? I see you play it with other
I
people.
know. Okay, we can play the game. We'll play the game. I thought
Real
did
quick,
we not
we
play?
did not play the game.
Okay, we're gonna play the game. But
You.
okay, we'll get to the game in 2 seconds. We do. But
I wanna
the
be
game,
left
you
out
gotta
of the
go
game. I
smoke
like
a
games.
blunt first because that'll be really fun. Okay, so hold on. Question. So those are the 2 upsides.
Yeah.
And in general, guys, we're going to be able to carry 30 grams on your person. You'll be able to grow up to 4 plants. You'll still have to go to the LCBO people. What are they? The
the OCS and the OCRC.
Right, the OCS,
Ontario
OCRC.
Cannabis Retail
Honestly,
something.
I can't remember
Corporation.
things anymore. When you go into medicine, you lose like 15% of your IQ. That's what that's the first thing they told me in medical school. And what else? And distribution will come based on province. How you're going to do it. Ontario is going to be through these things. Other places are allowing, storefronts, but the government will still be the sort of middleman and still do the online. So what are the downsides? I'll tell you, for me, it's just reading it seems like everything's illegal. Like it didn't seem like anything was legal outside of like somehow you have to find your cannabis.
Yeah.
Like it was like poof, you could go get it at one place, poof.
Yeah.
Other than that, like you're sort of up a creek.
Yeah.
You can't. Can you even share it with a friend? I got so there are guys that say you
so.
can share it. Like I had a legal opinion say you're certainly allowed to gift it, share it, give it. But then I read that if you're a company, you can't. What if you're a company? You have some stuff you just want people to try that's sitting out on the on the shelf or like on the desk. Can people and and you just want to share it. Is that allowed? Can you share it?
I don't know. These are all funny
I mean,
questions.
to me, yeah, these are questions that we really haven't had answered. I mean, is that redistribution by sharing it?
Right.
Is that redistribution? That's a very good question, and I don't have an answer to that.
I think,
I feel.
again,
What do you feel?
Go ahead, Abby. Sorry.
No,
I'm just
hold
gonna-
on. I want,
Yeah.
I want,
Okay.
I want you to
I
Amy,
felt
you
like I
finish.
cut you
You're
off.
so kind. You let everyone talk. Go.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that they may look at it as distribution right now, but however, the problem with it is that now that we're going to have legalization, would it not be okay to share with your friend? If I was to drink vodka, I would share that bottle with my friend.
That's right.
So how is this going to change with cannabis coming up? I think it would be pretty stupid if we considered that redistribution.
If you have a private party,
Yeah, I mean, and having
it's
cannabis on
allowed.
the table, I think it should be allowed.
I think it is allowed.
Yeah?
I'd have to look into it more. But I
I
think
just
it
look
is
at
allowed.
the. There's
It
one
has to
line
be.
that's.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense if it's not, right?
Yeah. But then it's so
But
much
then
of
it-
it doesn't make sense.
But yeah,
Right.
then again, the whole situation.
Yeah.
But it is technically would be, you
Yeah.
know, you're.
I feel like we still need these fine-tooth combs to figure out how it's going to be legal. I want to go have a drink. I'm going to go have a drink. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess you say it is the first iteration, and it's going to change over and over again.
Exactly.
But what are the big downsides that you see?
Me?
You.
Well, again, I just think everything will take time. And I think once we still live in a very prohibitionist mentality, you can see by the way that the new laws are written, by the way politicians are talking about it, the kind of stupidness that you hear out there. My favorite is still the kids with the toaster. What if the kid finds the
Right.
fresh weed and puts it in the toaster?
Yeah.
That's my favorite, right? Like just stupidity, like of just, and it's not people's stupidity. It's just prohibitionist ignorance, right?
Yeah.
And again, I think once we roll into it, 15 years ago, I opened the very first lounge in Eastern North America, and everybody was like, "What?
Yeah, that's
Like, you know
right,
what I mean?
that's right.
But everybody was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, what's gonna happen? The world is gonna,
Right.
the Chicken Little things are gonna come
sky's
falling.
gonna
The sky's gonna fall.
Little, we
you know
are.
what I mean?
Yeah.
The sky's gonna fall, and you know what? 15 years later, nothing's fallen." Maybe a tree branch once broke, but I
Right,
think
I
that's
just cut
about
the
it.
tree in front of my
Right?
house.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I think once
Dead.
cannabis becomes a normalized commodity and a normal part of people's lives, and the people who don't consume cannabis, again,
Get over it.
Get over it. I always say when my mother, my poor
on, poor mom.
mother,
Yeah,
if
I
she
know.
only knew,
I
if
know.
my mother only knew how many things she was in,
Yeah, I know.
But if my mother is accepting of the fact, I remember when I was 13 or 14, I went to go see Pink Floyd, and my mom said to me,
We
she's
went
like-
together?
We went
PS,
together.
I think
PS
we
with
did that.
Jan, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
We did go to,
was-
and
we were
I
in
came
grade
home.
10. No.
Yeah, grade 9,
Grade
10,
9,
10,
10,
something like that. Yeah, we went
I
to
was
Pink
a New
Floyd.
Brook thing.
CNA.
Yeah, it was-
Yeah,
yeah,
Aw,
that's
look
what it was.
at
we
that.
went together.
like
I
the
totally
second
forgot.
show.
Yeah, it was
like
great.
cute.
Yeah, totally. The CNE.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you
It
were
was
there.
great.
I was with you.
Yeah. And my mom, I remember in the morning, my mom
I
said,
remember we were sitting in the corner of like somewhere in the hall. It was like the early grade 10. It was like way in the beginning.
no,
but
for
then
sure. It
the
was
thing
great.
And we were sitting in a hall. We were talking about it. Anyway,
it was great. But my mother in the morning said
Fine.
to me, she was like, so my friend went to go see Pink Floyd, and he said a lot of people were smoking marijuana.
is that how she sounds?
Kind of, but I had to differentiate
Yeah, I
the voices,
gotcha.
so it's my mother talking. Anyways, she says, did you smoke marijuana? I said, well, yeah, it was Pink Floyd. Of course I did, Mom. And that's how my mom found out that I smoked weed. It was kind of like, well, it's Pink Floyd. I'm not gonna lie to you and say I didn't. You know what I mean? It's a Pink Floyd show, of course.
Right.
Wouldn't you? Anyways, so and the difference between back then, when I was a 14, 15-year-old kid, but the difference between since then of us having open conversations about cannabis. My sister married a man who consumes cannabis as well and loves to farm it on a small scale for himself, and on. He's a gardener. You know what I mean? So I saw the evolution of my conservative Jewish family, right? And how they talk about cannabis. And I always said, when my mother is into it and she thinks it should be legal, that's when the laws are going to change.
Right.
And I remember when Project Claudia happened, my mother called me and she said, oh my God, there's police officers all outside this nice little shop down the street. Why are they doing this? I said, I don't know, Mom. Why are they doing it, right? And I explained it to her. And the fact that she had more empathy for the people in the dispensary and the consumers and what are these people going to do and why are they doing this, to me said legalization is here.
Yeah.
This is it. It's happened, right? My conservative mother now is on my side, right? So she's never going to smoke a joint. We accomplished this in earlier conversation, but she's into it, right? So again, it was C45, all this prohibitionist mentality that's built into it, and all the way that the politicians talk about it and the kind of laws that they wrote about it, that's just ridiculous. To me and you, we're like, that's
Right.
ridiculous. But to them, it's normal. To
Right.
them, it's like, but this is reefer madness. This
Right.
is what it's supposed to be. So once all that starts to fade away with normalization, we'll see easier entry points, more access to people to enter the market, more products for people, and ease.
This
of-
is normalization starting.
Exactly.
It's been a fringe, it's been this thing. This is
Yeah.
the start of normalization.
You got
and
it.
over
It's the
time, it makes
evolution.
sense.
Yeah.
And over time, the evolution in 5 years,
Yeah.
even 5 years from now, we're going to look at this and be like, what the hell? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
well, do you remember when blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah? And it's like
Exactly.
walking uphill with the shoes and,
And
the
if
whole
you
thing. that our
exactly, and
parents
if you
told us.
look at photos of the LCBO, and the LCBO just opened, it was
Right.
like a Jamaican hardware store. You had to go in,
Right.
you had to order on your tickets and whatever, and you would
Yeah.
line up in 5 different lines. And
Right, I
you know,
remember. Yeah,
and
yeah.
you were made to feel like a criminal. That's
Right.
what the system was set up to do.
Right.
It made you feel shame, right? But now you look at, did you see some of the photos of some of these legal government shops? It's like they're breaking all their own rules, right? Like the New Brunswick one, ridiculous. Like they have the whole place set up as like in sections of like what you're gonna do when you get high. So it's like, so they're breaking all the C45 rules
awesome.
themselves, and it's a government store.
Right.
So the stupidity and the ridiculousness of
'Cause
all these regulations shows right there.
Right, because
They
you're
can't
not
even
allowed to
take-
advertise the effect of it and what. Totally,
The whole
that's
thing,
so funny.
right?
So
The
what are you
whole
gonna do?
thing.
What are you gonna right? Because that's not enticing to a minor.
It's crazy. It's
that's
crazy,
so
right?
funny.
But they're setting up these shops
Yeah.
all like fancy and whatever,
Yeah.
and normalized, and
It's gonna
they can't
normalize.
even keep up with their own rules and regulations.
Right.
Their own governments don't want these rules and regulations because they're the ones running these stores. You
Right.
think the OCS wants black Ziploc packaging with 15 warnings on it?
Right.
No, they
No, it
want
makes
they want
no
the
sense.
LCBO.
Right.
They want you to walk in and look at pretty packages and pictures.
And you probably will with time.
With time. Exactly.
This is iteration
So we
one.
just need to just have patience. I've waited 18 years,
Right.
and I will wait another 10, and then I'm going to freak out.
That's a great point. I mean, I love it. Well, guys, I think we're gonna play the game, and then and you can get to your son's.
Dunk the principal
dunk.
day.
I don't
Oh,
know
fun.
I wouldn't dunk. I don't know. I
would
spent
dunk
my
that
time.
principal.
I got thrown out of a school once. For
I'm the only
something like
parent that. pays for it. So
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
I'm
paid
the
for
only one
it
that
too.
will pay for
I have
it.
a lot of
It turns
principals
out.
from a whole bunch of schools that I'd like to dunk.
So I have to.
This is Waterbury.
Right, yeah.
It doesn't happen until I get there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Okay. So then let's do it. So this game is kind of fun.
Okay.
Move all this
First,
kombucha.
I want to say I appreciate you guys for coming on. And again, you started this with me 6 months ago, and we've now hit that legalization moment. We were talking about what's going to happen. Who knows? We now see the bill out there. But also, this is the start of our Women in Cannabis series, and you guys are like on the top to me. So
We have
I'm
vaginas.
I'm
We're
super.
into cannabis.
Oh,
We do.
God.
Yeah.
I'm super excited about
Yeah.
it. Again.
High five, abs.
Oh, jeez. I know. I mean, I guess even saying that, like, do we need to point out women in cannabis anymore?
you know,
like, does that bug you?
A little
a little bit.
Okay, good. Let's talk about that as the last thing.
Before
It's
we
sort
play?
of-
Okay.
we talk about it at the same time.
Okay.
Because it bothers me a
So-
little bit at the same time too. Like, why
Yeah.
do I have to point it out?
I don't go the man.
The man in cannabis.
You know,
Funny.
the man in
Like,
cannabis.
is there
I was-
merit? Right?
I was having this conversation the other night
Putting this on.
with my old friend Bear Witness from Tribe Called Red. So I've known Bear probably as long as I've known you. Like
Right.
we've been friends since Jerry Garcia died in 1995. That's when we
I
became
remember
friends.
I was at camp.
You remember that?
when
Remember that?
happened.
Yeah,
that
you
was
remember
the
all that?
saddest. He was about to play in
Totally.
Chicago, I
Yeah,
think.
dude,
Ugh, that was
did you
sad.
come to the-
That was
we
sad.
did
I was
the-
a camp counselor. I couldn't. Well, I
Oh,
was
you
sort of
weren't
like-
there
You were a
we
camp
did the
counselor?
yeah.
Well, I
You just
lasted like.
admitted that. Y'all hear
four-
that?
I lasted like 4 weeks at
We're
this camp
aging
called
ourselves. We're aging
Camp Katanum.
ourselves. Yeah, but so I was having this conversation with
in
Bear, and I
Keswick.
was like, because I'm on the women's panel, it's like all women in business, the cannabis business panel, and I was like, I appreciate the fact that they asked me, but in reality, I'm just a business person. I
Right.
just want to be
Do I-
treated. I don't have to be
Yeah.
a woman,
I
right?
have to be
And I said, and I
identified?
point, and I didn't even think about it, and I go to Bear. I'm like, well, every time you go on a music panel, are you on a man's panel? He's
Right.
like, well, Indigenous, and I it was just so funny.
Right, I
I
love
was
it.
like, we all have our
Right?
pegs if we
No one
don't
sticks
fit
me
in
on
the
the
box,
Jewish panel.
right?
You're on the Jewish
you're
panel.
on the Jewish panel.
There's less Jews than women in the world. So.
Way less.
I know,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like
14 million.
14 million.
That's it.
Yeah, women's panel, it's, like,
What are your thoughts?
I'm not a big fan of that. It used to be a thing because men dominated this industry. So it's like,
Right.
yeah, we have a women's panel. Ha
Yeah.
But now it's just like, we're taking over.
Right,
So
exactly.
it should be a women's panel. We should say, and we added a man to our panel
Yeah.
to let him feel included.
Right. Yeah. I don't. I just the whole idea of
Instead of vice
differentiating,
versa.
having to
Yeah.
differentiate gender now, like it. No, you are who you are. We're humans.
We're
Exactly.
cannabis
I don't care
activists
if
and
you're
advocates.
And if especially
Male,
in a,
female, dog, animal. I don't care.
and especially in a business panel, I just feel like, I was in a really interesting panel at Lyft where I was a judge for a pitch competition.
Yeah.
So it was a really interesting thing because they went by where the people come from. So there was a tech guy from Ample Organics, there was like an investment guy, there was a stockbroker,
Just use your damn
there was a
phone up here. We all know
CFO, and
you're
then
on.
there was me that came from like retail, right? So it was a really interesting across the board panel. And in the end, it was me that pointed out the things that were like the winning points about the person that won, right? And the guys were just like, whoa, like we didn't even think about that.
Yeah, you're super smart at this.
But I see things and I know things, right?
Yeah.
So it was really interesting that, like, except for my high heels and my mini skirt, there was like nothing else there that was like me being a woman. It was like all about business. It was about the product. It was about what was happening, and the fact that they listened to me and took my word as same as theirs. I was so happy. I was like, I'm not on a woman's panel. I'm on a business
You're on
panel.
a human panel, a
I'm
people
Right.
I'm on
panel.
a business panel, and
Yeah.
I'm representing retail, and that's what I'm representing here is retail and customer experience. Well, if I was a tech person or whatever, right? So, anyways, the point is, when I started, I was a Jewish disabled woman with dreads that was 19 years old.
You had a lot going for you.
I had a
there,
lot
Ab.
more than just being a woman. There are a lot of issues, right? There are a lot of issues.
love
and
it.
the biggest one
Jesus.
was I fit all the pegs and all the
You put-
dots outside of the
that's
box,
awesome.
right? I fit all that. But it's like, but at the same point, nobody wanted to do business with a 19-year-old kid. So I
Right.
have been 30 for like ever. Like I've been 30 since I was like
That's
19
awesome.
because I had
Oh
to
my God.
pretend to be older so
Right.
people would give me store credit and
I
like
would
want
take
to do
you.
business with me. And now that I'm
So-
40, I kind of pretend to be 30 because I'm 40.
Right. I do the same thing.
I'm like
Yeah.
I'm like
I'm 28.
we're
Ignore the-
eternally like 30.
Ignore
Yeah.
the damn beard.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, being a woman, we're 50% of the world, whatever. You know what I mean?
Doesn't even matter.
It doesn't matter. We're
know.
there's just as many of us, right?
I know.
I
So,
think your acumen is what should stand out.
100%. So
Yeah.
I'm fighting that as myself, thinking, why am I doing this? Everybody's the new thing now. I feel like all this stuff, all these like, the women in cannabis, the all these other little things people are throwing out. It's this thinly veiled, how do I explain what I'm trying to say? Like a thinly veiled facade to make money.
Yeah.
Like they're just trying. Do you
Women,
really,
of course,
like-
it will have butterflies.
like-
of course, it'll be
like-
pink.
like-
of course, Ira. Of course.
Like, does it matter that yeah, we're women in cannabis. Oh yeah, we're we treat dogs. Oh yeah, we treat this person or we treat that specific gender. At the end of the day, you're doing it because you're trying to find your niche to make money.
Yeah.
Like, do you really care? Like, yeah, I hope you care as a human. So
Yeah.
we're all just humans. Anyway, okay, what? I know you have to
I
leave.
really care, though. I know you said that about other people, but I really do.
I know you care.
Okay.
No, that's what I'm saying.
That's such a big thing for me. Okay.
So no,
I missed
that
your
sorry.
I'm like, what do you mean?
No, so that's what I mean. What I mean is there are those who actually really care, but it drives me nuts when I see these things. Like even to myself, saying I'm doing a series on women in cannabis. What
I
is my
got you,
what is my
sorry.
reason for doing that? Am I
Yeah.
trying to get viewership, or do I actually really care? I mean,
Mm.
of course I really care because to me it's massive. We spoke about it already.
And to be honest, like you're not a Bay Street white guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think you face a lot of the same issues that I would face or that Amy would face. Like I have had to learn the last year, I've essentially
Yeah.
learned how to communicate with Bay Street guys. That was my mission. It was like I say my mission from God, like a blues brother. You know what I mean? Because in order for me to enter the legal market, I had to be able to communicate what my business is, why do they want to work with me? They all know who I am, but they're scared of me. So, and I didn't know how to communicate with them. So I've literally spent the last year learning their world, right? And it's
Yeah.
really interesting. And I'm actually really enjoying their world.
Yeah.
I'm actually really enjoying
Because
our
that's
conversations.
what you've been doing.
Yeah.
Anyways, but you've been on your own
On
doing
my own
it
trip,
too.
yeah.
I totally hear
And
that
now they
too.
get me, and now we can
They're
have
like,
a
wow,
no-
you've bridged that gap. I love it.
Exactly. So, but
cool.
they have to bridge that gap back, right?
Yeah.
Because they have to. The reality is that the corporate Bay Street guy that only deals with women and they're, only with men, and most of the women that work there are either they're executive assistants or whatever, maybe one woman on the board, you know what I mean? They have to open up. But they also have to realize that the cannabis consumer is not what they're used to.
Right.
And the end game, after the investors and after their stockbrokers and after all the stock play that's happening, is in the end, they need people like me and they need people like you guys to communicate directly with the consumer in a way that they'll never understand. Like, there's no way that the corporate guys who have never worked in a head shop or a dispensary or a clinic will ever know what the actual consumer wants to see or hear. So when you're seeing these plans from New Brunswick
And
and
they
whatever,
try to pretend they do, but they
they
don't.
pretend, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, so when you see these plans clearly created by like some expensive marketer that has never actually smoked a joint in their lives, probably, right? It's like you're getting these retail layouts that don't make sense.
Yeah.
These cockamamie marketing schemes, butterflies in pink,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean?
I
And it's
love
just
the
like,
butterflies in
but
pink.
none of it actually flies in the real world.
That's right. Yeah,
It doesn't
it'll look
fly.
great on paper, and they can raise $12 million, $20 million, $50
but when
million,
I can, but
it won't
when
sell
I
a
can
thing.
look at the financial statements of publicly traded companies that are essentially my competition, and I can clearly tell you that I made more than they did from 7 locations in 600 square feet.
Yeah.
That tells you something about
Yeah, yeah.
what myself and my
exactly.
company can do.
That's right.
And that's what I'm trying to bridge by creating this holding company, is I'm trying to create the bridge between them and us.
Love
and if
it.
there's a way for us and a National Access Cannabis who's really struggling with their sales to come together and work together.
Synergy. I just consult for them.
the
Let's talk synergy.
Yeah, you know
Let's
what I mean?
talk about-
And they're a great
Yeah.
company, and I was their landlord for a while, actually, funny enough.
Right.
But, it's just interesting to me, like, where it's all going, and I
Yeah.
think there has to be that synergy.
There is a bridge, and there's going to be a
there has
bridge,
to
and
be.
we're going to be
Yeah.
able to figure it all out.
And they're trying to, and they're playing the same game as us.
Yeah, that's right. And they're trying. They're coming from their world. We have to figure out how
Yeah.
to communicate. If this one would stop being on her phone for 2 seconds.
I'm sorry, I have a business that I run, and I'm running it.
Oh, good
Yeah,
for
you took 3 hours of my time, so.
I took. Listen, rude.
So, I'm just gonna run my business.
Okay.
Because
fine.
I'm also helping you with yours.
Fine. Do you what? This is
Are we
not a
playing this
business.
game?
This is fun, man. There's no business to
I
the.
love to mess with it.
There's no business to
It
the
will one
higher
day be
estate.
a-
One
it
day
will-
maybe, who
it will
knows? But
one
this
day
is
be a
just
hot
fun.
box.
I'm
I'm
trying to
not the biz. We can talk
I'm the
about.
biz.
Yeah, I know. Hey, okay, I'm not gonna plug them either.
I was on the biz.
I know. I heard it. I heard you were. I was gonna be on the biz, then they kicked me off.
You weren't woman enough.
Now what? Right.
You
I
didn't
don't
hit
know.
the points.
I don't know.
You didn't hit the points.
I didn't. People are afraid to work with me. Same idea.
And that's what I was saying.
All right, it's
Yeah.
so true.
Yeah.
Okay, let's play this
do
game.
the
A couple
game.
rounds of
Yeah.
this. I know. I know. We gotta stop.
We're gonna one round.
One
One
round.
round,
Okay, the
one
way
round.
this works is we roll the die. We do
Can I be
whatever
orange?
it says. Yeah, I got 3 colors.
I'm gonna be
whatever you-
blue.
Okay, and
I'm
I'll
gonna
be
move
the
this
green.
'cause I'm hard of seeing.
Okay, let's do
Yeah.
it. So who's gonna roll first?
Okay, so we'll roll to see who goes first. I got a 2,
Go ahead, Abby.
and then we do what it says on the thing.
2. What the loaded dice.
1.
Okay, well we know you're not going first. Oh, unless I got 4.
What if 1 was the good number?
One is maybe it is the good number.
5.
Oh, you got
Wait,
me by
I'll
girl.
take it.
No,
So you
joking.
can take
I'm
5.
gonna move my orange 5.
Orange.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take a
Bad
brownie.
brownie. I don't
Read
want a
what it
bad
says.
brownie. I don't do edibles.
No.
I'll play. You're working on a weed farm, but can you name farm animals? What? Last one able to come up with a name
It's supposed
moves.
to be really high when you.
Ooh,
play
do we
this
have to
game.
do this in a row?
Yeah.
Like, so you go like pig, bear. Okay, I got this.
What?
But we're gonna do it for.
So we gotta say,
Last one able to come up with a name moves.
See? Oh,
We have to
okay,
go
I'm
in a row
glad.
quickly.
We don't have to be
Like
high. We
black
don't really
bear,
get it.
green bear.
What does it say?
Perma-high. So we gotta come up with farm animal names.
We can't even figure out.
I got it. I got
Okay.
it. You can't.
What is? I don't get it. No,
I
but
said
then
pig.
what happens?
You just
I
have
moved
to go in
3
a
spaces.
circle.
Last one able to come up.
Pig.
Well, we haven't even started. How do you lose 3 spaces?
Pig.
Turn by turn, you go.
Go.
Elephant.
Dog.
What kind of elephant?
Like I don't know what an African one with the big Dumbo ears.
No, you can't have an elephant farm.
Oh,
Well, you eat the
farm.
elephants. You
Sorry.
milk the elephants.
Did I already
Camel.
lose?
What? I was gonna say camel.
I got it.
How do you have a camel farm? Sorry.
Horse.
Hold on a
You're
second.
out. You said elephant.
Jaguar.
What's a
I know
jaguar?
jaguar.
What is a jaguar?
They're in
You're
the
out.
zoo.
All right, move me 3 spaces.
You didn't even
I
get
win.
past one.
I win. Cow.
What happened to
Cow.
dogs?
Move me 3.
It
Move me 3.
was
What's that?
in
Take
the
a hit.
zoo.
Take a hit.
Hold on. Plus 1, 2, 3. Free toke.
What's that mean?
That's take
Free
a
smoke. Free smoke.
toke. We,
Okay.
she's gonna win before we even get started.
Your date doesn't like the fact that you're a weed farmer. Okay, let's
them.
put this back.
Why are you
They're
weed
single
farmer?
now.
Name 4 types of wine. If you fail,
Forget it.
move
Screw it.
back.
Move
I
that.
don't.
We don't like
yeah,
that
we
one.
don't.
Let's do this one.
No,
What's
no.
you say?
See,
Name
my
5 slang
husband
words for money.
would never hate the fact that I'm a weed farmer and I don't
That's
drink
a bad
wine.
question. I don't
So
like that
you're
question
next.
either.
Okay, I get
Roll
to
the
go.
dice.
Can I go?
Yeah, you roll the
I'm
dice.
rolling. I got 5. Ira, where am I moving to?
Okay. 1, 2. Oh, you're this color. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take her to the. Oh no, we forgot to go up here.
Oh, it goes up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm
Bad,
a bad brownie.
You're both bad brownies.
All right.
It's better when
Hold
you're
on.
high. I think.
Where am I?
Solo,
This
you're
game
traveling in
sucks.
Europe. Name 5 European languages. Out.
You have to name 5.
Yeah, I'm out. Go ahead.
How you out with 5 European languages?
I don't know 5
Italian, is that so is that
Yeah.
a language?
Italian.
French.
French.
Spanish.
I was gonna
Why
say-
are you answering for
I'm
everybody?
Spanish.
trying to help her.
What's the next
She's
one?
my friend.
Yeah,
my
friends help
homie.
friends. Okay. I need
homegirl.
2 more.
Okay, so no, we don't.
European.
We know we, don't we all go around?
Finnish.
What's
Swedish.
Swedish. I got 5.
Portuguese? Don't we all go around in like a
I get
circle?
to take a hit now.
Anyways, give her a
He's
hit.
not
Give
playing
give
right,
the woman
okay?
a hit.
Okay, choose a card.
She's been bluntless for 3 hours.
I'm
That's
dying.
you know.
4.
Here's another easy one. Name 3 states that have legalized weed for recreational use.
You can do
No
it.
can do back to. What? No can do?
If you can't do,
Oh, okay. Well, we've got Washington, clearly. Is that a state?
it is.
Yes.
Okay, Washington State. I wasn't
State.
sure if it was a state or if it was
There's
a city
2. There's
name.
district.
There's
as well.
district,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah,
right?
Don't help.
Okay, we've got Colorado.
Yeah.
And are we talking about medical? Oh,
Yeah.
no,
Doesn't matter.
recreational.
One other
Cali.
one. Yeah, okay,
There
good.
you
You
go.
got the
But I
base.
wanted to add New York because they do medical.
Yes.
like
New
that.
Jersey does medical.
New Jersey does medical too.
Yeah.
Jersey.
Jersey.
All right,
I love
4.
their accents.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, busted. I get the busted.
Busted. Go
Walk
figure.
in a straight line, 1 foot. Okay, I'm not walking 1 foot in front. I could do that. I'll pick
Do
up
a bad
card.
brownie.
All play. Munchies strike a game. Name fast food places with drive-throughs.
Let's do this.
Taco Bell.
Wimpy's.
It's Wendy's.
McDonald's.
Taco Bell.
You said that.
Again,
You're out.
I don't even know I said
You're
Taco
out. You're
Bell.
out. Did someone say McDonald's?
Yeah.
Who did?
You did.
Oh,
no.
A&W.
What? Fancy. Burger King.
Oh, is Tim Hortons fast foody? It's like a coffee
It is.
shop.
Starbucks.
It is.
So do they have drive-throughs
Yes,
at
they do. In the
Starbucks?
country, they do.
Oh, jeez. Okay, but like, okay,
Who won?
they don't have In-N-Out Burger here, do they? That's a U.S. thing.
I don't know what it is.
Sonic.
Well, I know what it is.
Sonic.
Sonic? That's in the
Sonic.
US too.
So what? It still exists.
Okay, fine, Sonic. What else do we have? Who eats fast? Like,
I do. I love fast food.
I like
KFC,
Wendy's.
KFC.
Oh, KFC. They,
KFC's
yeah.
got a drive-through?
KFC has a drive-through, yeah.
Swiss Chalet. I'm not even playing.
You're not
Sorry.
even playing. They don't have a drive-through.
Guys,
Chalet.
help me out here. Or Harvey's.
What? Okay, Pizza Hut, no Churrios.
Oh, jeez. Damn. But what's the other? Domino's. Their pizza. They have
They don't have no drive-through.
drive-through. Fuck you.
I win.
Okay.
Yay, Abby!
All right, we're done. Thank you guys. You're awesome.
Yay.
And you guys are amazing. And we'll 6 more months. We'll see where we are.
Yeah.
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 And in the meantime, everybody, CannabisRetreats.com. I'm going to send you guys
With
the
hot
decks.
box lounges.
And there'll be hot box lounge
of course.
for sure.
And
It'll
if
be
you know
fun.
anybody that wants to invest into hot box
Okay.
because it's a good investment, you call me.
For sure.
Yeah.
We're connecting.
We're on it.
Connecting.
We're on it.
Who about you?
I'm
Who do you want
just
to
gonna
plug?
be there
Can
at
do.
That was totally illegal.
because I'm gonna be a guest.
That's
Yeah.
right. Can do.
And can do.
What
Sup?
else?
Can do does do. Sup?
Can-
No.
Hey, who else do you want to
Dilly.
shout out to? I want to shout out to Big Little. I went to the.
What? Gotta throw the gang signs up.
I don't know. You're always at these concerts. You're always
And,
like backstage. She does
And just so
craziness.
y'all know,
I
there's a
don't
new
even go
Schoolboy
out.
Q album coming out soon.
Okay,
Hell
there you
yeah. Favorite rapper.
All right.
Nice.
Okay, cool. We're done.
All right. Peace out.
Sup, sup.
I know.
All right, guys.